These two teams actually opened this stadium head-to-head in 1929 on this very date. So this is the anniversary of the opening of Wallace Wade Stadium. It was then Duke Stadium. And we are set to go. The Blue Devils coming in at 3-1, 1-0 in the ACC. Pittsburgh at 3-2, 0-1 in the conference. Now Duke wins the toss, and they will defer to the second half. So Pitt to receive and be on offense under Kenny Pickett. Pickett, the starting quarterback. He missed last week's win over Delaware with a shoulder injury. And this is an offense, Tim, that loves to throw the football.
They do. Mark Whipple, their offensive coordinator, loves to throw it, and they feel like Kenny Pickett gives them their best chance to hit some of the talented receivers they have. I think missing last week was rough for Pickett, who really hadn't missed a practice, going back to 9th grade. So probably excited to be back out there.
He's got Todd Sibley in the backfield with him. He had a very good day against Delaware. Rushed for over 100 yards on a play action. Pickett looking upfield and incomplete. The first pass play of the ball game intended for Taysir Mack, one of his favorite receivers.
Yeah, Taysir Mack's a very good player, and that looked like a play where you're trying to get your quarterback who missed last week an easy completion. That's a nice job of the Duke defense of covering up on the boot play.
So 2nd and 10. Into the flat and completed to French. They covered him beautifully. That was Hornbuckle, Trey Hornbuckle. We had a chance to chat with him yesterday. What an engaging young man and a terrific player.
Terrific player, engaging young man, and engaging with French on the perimeter right there.
Yeah.
In a very different way than we experienced our talk with him.
Yes, but one he enjoys very much on a Saturday night to bring up 3rd and 10. Pickett the junior out of New Jersey to throw long this time and caught. Complete to Mack to pick up a big first down before he was taken down by Blackwell.
And it's a really nice job of Taysir Mack. It's one-on-one coverage. Blackwell's got him, and this ball's underthrown by Kenny Pickett, but you see him just do a good job of seeing the ball in the air and adjusting to it. Taysir Mack, really a complete wide receiver.
Gain of 25. He wants to throw again. Pocket breaks down. He dumps it off, but incomplete. Intended for Sibley. So under some pressure there at the end of the play as we got underway tonight here at Duke. Pickett 5th in the country with almost 27 completions per game. He actually caught the game-winning touchdown pass against UCF, as we showed you. Had a great game against Penn State, 372 yards. Throwing right away again, and that one complete to French. French trying to scamper away. He's taken down for a loss.
Good pursuit here by this defense. Duke was a little late lining up on the snap, but you just see the way that everybody swarms to the football. Matt Guerreri, the defensive coordinator for Duke, said, hey, listen, we coach our guys to say, where are you when the whistle blows? Well, look at that picture right there. I mean, you got 10 guys right around the ball there. Good effort and energy by this Duke defense at the start.
So 3rd and 14 for Pitt. Pickett out of the gun. Steps up in the pocket. Throws on the move and dropped. In and out of the hands of French and incomplete.
And that's one French has got to make for his quarterback. Really good job of Pickett climbing in the pocket. Pressure on him as you see Kwanzaa hit him. And that ball's right on the hands of French, who the best thing he does is, once the ball's in his hands, create offense, and really needs to come down with that one on a big 3rd down.
And Pickett, such an accurate passer, came in with 139 consecutive passes without an interception. So Christodoulou to punt. And it's Blackwell to let that one go into the end zone. And so the Duke Blue Devils and Quentin Harris about to take over on offense in the opening minutes of the first quarter. He can be an electrifying presence out there, no question about that. In Duke's 3 wins, he's completed 77% of his passes. He's also showcased his speed this season, 290 rushing yards, on 41 carries.
And Dave, when we got to talk to him, the thing that impressed me the most is he said, I'm ready now because of what I went through, because of how I've been coached and how I prepared. And that's why his first year as a starter is off to such a great start.
Took over for his close friend Daniel Jones, who of course was chosen number 6 in the NFL draft by the Giants, the man who replaced Eli Manning. And looking to throw on first down and complete. And that'll pick up a first down. Quick hit to Aaron Young, taken down by Paris Ford.
And they start off in empty, and you just look at the job that Young does, winning on the slant against Ford. Empty, 4 out strong. And really, if you have an isolation route to his left, he's going to take it, which he does there on the first down.
Deion Jackson in motion. Oftentimes they're in empty, but Jackson will run this one for a short gain. And stopped by Patrick Jones. Oh, they played an absolute wild one last year at Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. Pitt winning 54-45. Kenny Pickett hitting Maurice French with a 25-yard touchdown pass with 5 seconds to go to ice it. That one batted down. The tip by Jalen Twyman. We're going to be saying that name a lot tonight, is my guess, number 97.
Yeah, he's a very good player. The coaches rave about his work ethic. And one of the things you deal with these RPOs is that you're not pass blocking. And so as guys are just trying to move, they're not worried about getting defenders' hands down. You know, Quentin Harris is only 5'11", and not able to navigate a throwing lane there.
3rd and 8. Here's that empty look. On the throw short and complete to Noah Gray, the talented tight end who they've been raving about this season. Exceptionally quick, a former quarterback. That's 14 yards.
He's a former quarterback, and he's got a great feel. You see him off to your right. He's just running a little out route and does a great job of pushing the leverage. You mentioned former quarterback, Dave. I think he sees the passing game when he's running routes like a former quarterback.
Duke likes a lot of former quarterbacks, even though they're not playing quarterback. Harris will scamper and step out shy of the 40. But why do you think that is? Why do you think quarterbacks at other positions make sense?
Well, I think for David Cutcliffe, it's because he thinks high school coaches put their best football player at quarterback, so it starts there. And then I think guys have seen the game as a quarterback, which helps them understand what other guys, what other positions are doing.
Oh, big hit to stop Bracey. Well, Chris, you tell me this every week. The best athletes are always at quarterback. There's no question about that.
Anybody that has seen me play basketball or golf knows that is the case. But, you just look at the guys on the roster here. Noah Gray, who obviously had the catch just a second ago. Jalen Calhoun is a very promising freshman wide receiver. So, you just look at, their impact on this team alone this season, and it's evident.
Harris over the top and overthrows it. Intended for Deion Jackson. And incomplete to bring up 2nd and 10.
And I think that David Cutcliffe does a good job of finding ways to use these former quarterbacks. If you just even look at Quentin Harris, who was not the starting quarterback, it didn't mean he didn't play. So because he was this high school quarterback that wasn't the starting quarterback, kind of made him a bit of a wildcat quarterback when Daniel Jones was the starter.
Mateo Durant, the running back, on 2nd down. Harris throws it to him, swings it out to the left. Took a pretty good hit by Cam Bright. So 3rd down and 6.
In a 3rd and 6, I think David Cutcliffe would like to be in 3rd and 6 or better to try to keep Pittsburgh out of their crazy blitzes on 3rd and long.
Durant on the run and powers ahead. And a big decision here as he's short on this. Stopped by Phil Campbell. And decision time for the Duke Blue Devils. 4th and 1. And Harris and the Blue Devils will go for it.
And there's some traditionalists going crazy. 4th and 1, and you're in the shotgun to empty.
Harris straight ahead. Powers in. He's got himself a first down.
And really, it's a lead play. You're in the shotgun, but it's basically a direct snap. And Harris is just running power. I mean, that's what they're doing. They're pulling the backside guard, Baker, the roommate of Quentin Harris, and they just pour it up in there for the first down.
Roomy better be helping him out there, making some room for him. Makes for a better home life. He'll fire that one incomplete. Deion Jackson, his intended target.
I like that, by the way, Dave. I like when I see quarterbacks rooming with offensive linemen. Like, you know, receivers, they're never happy. So you talk about happy home life. They're always open. They're never happy. Linemen, they just, you know, like they've been picked on their whole life. They just want a friend. And so it's a good move by any quarterback.
And you know those receivers are always whining.
Always whining.
I'm always open, by the way, Tim.
All you have to deal with is just them being messy. It's the only thing you have to deal with.
2nd and 10. And again, incomplete. Nobody home there. Good pressure on that play by Patrick Jones, the left defensive end.
And these are the situations for Duke that they really want to stay out of. It's 3rd and 10, and probably the best thing that Pittsburgh does defensively is they will get down into a 3-down front, and then they will bring six defenders, but you don't know which 6, and that's what makes it challenging. Duke trying to clear it up by going into empty.
Remember, 24 sacks for Pitt on the pass rush. But he's sneaking in there. You're seeing more velocity on those throws, as you said, and people give him credit for. That was complete to Aaron Young.
Yeah, and really, it was the information he got pre-snap that he was going to go to Aaron Young based on the blitz look he was getting. And in terms of his arm strength, Dave, watching him throw pregame, I was really impressed with the way the ball jumped out of his hand. One of the reasons I think he told us he thinks of himself as a passer first, and I think the Pitt defensive staff viewed him as a passer first as well.
33-yard attempt here by A.J. Reed, junior out of Prattville, Alabama. And Duke trying to get on the board here. And that one is good. So Duke with a 3-0 lead here at home tonight on a Saturday in the ACC. Panthers, Dave O'Brien and Tim Hasselbeck. Katie George alongside. Beautiful night here with a feel of October in the air. Temperatures have dropped down into the 60s tonight, so everyone a little bundled up. And the Pitt Panthers about to take over on offense. Big upset of UCF, 35-34. That is their victory of the year so far. And Woods trying to take it out of there. Tripped up. Did not get out to the 20-yard line. Cody Pickett had a little fun over the summer. And take a look at some of these trick shots. Now, this is real, genuine talent.
It is genuine talent. I'm also loving, that's Jimmy Morrissey, his center right there. I'm loving the trust. I was speaking of Quentin Harris and Baker being roommates. I think a little love from the teammates.
Swish. It's a beauty. I don't know how many attempts it took to do that, but
first time. Every time you see a quarterback, it was the first throw.
Sibley in the backfield. Second drive for Pickett. And complete to French. Now, French has 40 receptions, 2 of those for touchdowns this season. Taysir Mack with 32. I mean, together, 72 receptions as a duo that leads the country.
Yeah, and they'll find different ways to get French the football, as they do right here.
Gonna run it out to the left. And taken down by Marquise Waters to bring up 3rd down and 1. Pitt with their first rush of the ball game.
And really not a traditional run when you think about the jet sweep.
So from the 26, it's French again, right side this time, and no chance to move. Corralled by Michael Carter. The safety.
I just mentioned that it wasn't a traditional run. They just ran the jet sweep to the left. Now they run to the right. Stick your foot in the ground and get up the field. Understand the down and distance. It's not a 2nd and 6 run. It's a 3rd and 1 run. You know, not every play call where it's a same, you know, it's the same play, but the situation is different. You have to handle it different as a runner. Lower your pads, foot in the ground, and get up the field. I think they had a chance for a first down there.
So Christodoulou to punt again. We came on the air talking about Pitt's defense. So far, Duke with a very stout effort. That drives back Blackwell. Trying to get to the 40 and short of there. So the Duke Blue Devils to go back on offense behind Quentin Harris. That is all part of 150 years of college football history. On first down, Harris with the handoff. Jackson trying to wriggle free, but runs into a wall on that right side. Harris forward. David Green on a tackle.
You think 90 years ago, Dave, they were in shotgun on 4th and 1?
I don't think so.
What about jet sweeps on 3rd and 1?
I think
probably not.
Yes, somewhere off in the very, very distant future. 2nd down and 10. Jackson again. We're talking about Quentin Harris, and he spent his summer interning in New York at J.P. Morgan on the commodities floor, dealing with silver, gold, platinum. Said he really enjoyed the floor a lot. He said it was like an athletic locker room. Loved mixing it up in there.
And when we had a chance to talk with him, I'm pretty sure that this guy will be successful at anything that he does.
He wants to do.
He's going to have to be successful and smart here. 3rd and long, like we talked about earlier.
Trying to throw it. Now he's going to run it. Takes a pretty good hit. Ball came free.
Harris brings it out.
Harris lost the handle on it. Pitt says that they have it. Let's see what happens when they untangle the pile here, as he definitely lost control of the football at the very end, taking a pretty good whack. And Pitt will have the football. Kylan Johnson.
Yeah, you see, he's just trying to, kind of split 2 defenders and go for the first down. He was trying to work to Noah Gray, who was getting doubled, which is why there was room to run for Quentin Harris. And Cam Bright and Kylan Johnson just kind of, collide with him and end up, looks like Cam Bright maybe gets his shoulder pad or his helmet on the football, which is why it pops out.
The turnover hoop. They haven't forced many this season despite all those sacks.
And that's why I think that's such a big deal. Just the 3rd one all season long for Pittsburgh, as you see that. I mean, last in FBS coming into tonight. And obviously fantastic field position to help this Pittsburgh offense.
Yep. Harris didn't take many hits like that on the trading floor. Play action fake, can't drag him down. Pickett still on his feet, throwing long and incomplete. Off the hands of Jared Wade.
And these receivers are going to need to start making some plays for their quarterback, because Kenny Pickett does an amazing job here. McSwain has him wrapped up. He's able to get loose, and then as he throws the football, just takes an absolute shot, and that ball's right on the hands of Wayne. You think about the drop earlier by French. There's a drop by Wayne, and both of those plays, big play opportunities for the Pitt offense.
2nd and 10 for Pitt. Down 3-0. On the handoff, Sibley is pretty far down on the depth chart as far as running backs are concerned, because they've lost Vincent Davis. A.J. Davis has been nicked up, but Sibley really rose to the occasion last Saturday with the 2 main backs out, ran for 106 yards, 65 of those in the 4th quarter.
He did a nice job stepping up last week. They feel like they're thin at that position, but as Pat Narduzzi told us, you can't go to free agency in college.
3rd and 7. Pickett again wants to put it in the air. And that one looked like it was tipped as a flag on the play. Michael Carter got his hand on the pass, but a penalty flag. 5:04 to go here in the 1st.
There's no foul for defensive pass interference. The pass is tipped. Result of the play is 4th down.
That's a nice job by the officials there. As you see this ball get tipped, and Johnson ends up holding to Sear Mack, but because the ball is tipped, that pass interference there, ends up being negated. Good job of Carter getting depth in his drops to undercut that out route by Sear Mack.
So on 4th and 7, Pitt will be punting. Christodoulou has been busy here in the early going. This will be his 4th punt already. Gets this one away. Blackwell with a fair catch. And a moment ago, Quentin Harris saying all good offensive line. This turnover That's on me. And that was in double overtime, 51-48. So they have played some memorable games, particularly in the last 6 or 7 years. We'll see if tonight matches up. Duke in front 3-0 first quarter. And Harris back by himself. Wants to throw nearly, and in fact it is intercepted. Picked off by Pitt. Ford into the end zone. Touchdown. A tip and then the pick six. Dane Jackson with the tip and Ford with the catch.
So the same exact play that Duke started the game off with offensively, 4 out strong. As you see, you have 4 receivers out here, and they're just going to work the slant. That's the one-on-one that Harris wants. He just ends up throwing the ball behind, and because the ball's thrown behind, it gets tipped. And tips and overthrows are the last thing you want. Dane Jackson does a good job of kind of fighting through it, and then Paris Ford, good pursuit to the football.
Yeah, terrific athletic play by Ford to gather that in. So Kessman with a kick. Extra point to make it 7-3 Pitt. And they have forced a couple of big turnovers. That one really burns the Duke Blue Devils.
It certainly does, and it's that defense that's been playing well all season long, but not coming up with turnovers. They do it here as Paris Ford is able to walk this one into the end zone.
I mean, the last 2 plays, Pitt forcing a turnover that equals what they had done all season long, 2 turnovers.
The defensive coordinator, Randy Bates, told us we're close. We're really close. And he wasn't wrong. He saw it coming. He thought there were about 4 or 5 opportunities against Penn State. They didn't come up with them, and finding a way to come up with them tonight against Duke.
So Kessman with the kickoff, and see if Duke can have more luck holding on to the football. As Carter gets wrapped up. 4:44 to go here in the first. 7-3 Pitt. And Harris perhaps a little shaken by back-to-back turnovers. He's been such a good rushing quarterback. In fact, 7th in the ACC overall in rushing, and the only quarterback in the top 7. But it was on a rushing play. He coughed up the football. And now the interception. He's got Durant with him in the backfield. On 1st and 10. Trying to center of the line, and he's denied by Killen Johnson, 6'2" senior out of Dallas, Texas, who's really having a strong year.
A transfer from the University of Florida. They thought they were getting a good player, and when you watch him on tape, he is flying around, not afraid to hit, plays with great speed and energy. Pitt is really fortunate, especially when you think about how banged up they've been at linebacker.
Yeah, they love his veteran presence. 2nd down and 8 for Harris. And another interception. Again, it's Paris Ford. Ford heading to left side, a flag down. But another pick. The 2nd one of the night for number 12. And all of a sudden, the Pitt defense is everywhere, but 3 flags down.
The ruling on the field is an interception by the defense. Pitt's ball. During the return, personal foul, illegal blindside block on the return team, number 5. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul will be 1st down.
Just running a drive concept. Noah Gray is going to come on the shallow cross, and then they're going to run a basic cross in behind it. The problem is that Paris Ford just ends up sitting back here, and he doesn't end up seeing him. As he's trying to throw that basic cross, Paris Ford's just reading his eyes, doesn't move, and he throws it right to him.
Well, Randy Briles told us in a meeting yesterday, this kid is a playmaker. And guess what he's doing tonight? He's making huge plays.
He certainly is. They feel like he has cornerback skills. 6'1", 190, plays with great energy, and the impact that he's having on his football game has started early.
Well, so far the defense has been the offense for the Pitt Panthers. Pickett on a back pedal, looking for someone to dump off to, and incomplete.
Pass is incomplete.
Now Pitt's offensive coordinator, Mark Whipple, guy you know very, very well, former Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback coach for Ben Roethlisberger. He's been termed unconventional. Starts by putting in about 200 plays in the fall camp. French will be dragged down. Taken down by Dylan Singleton, outstanding free safety for the Duke Blue Devils, but picks up the first down.
Yeah, and Mark Whipple brought in to really kind of energize the passing game, which is exactly, kind of what you've seen in comparison to a year ago, and getting the ball to guys like French on the perimeter and on the move. What this Pitt offense needed a year ago, and they're getting more out of it now.
Complete to Aaron Matthews. And you watch Pickett go over and talk to an offensive coordinator after the play. You talk about a pro-style offense.
Now in the pros, they can just talk to you in your helmet, which saves you about 5.5 miles of running.
Yeah, it does.
By the way Pitt is doing this. I don't think that Mark Whipple's concerned about how much Cody Pickett's running, though.
No, not at his age. Second down and 7. Off the play action fake. He'll fire again and complete. French took a pretty good knock, but he picks up the first. Flag down 2. Flag on the play. Things got chippy before this game started. And there was a lot of talking back and forth.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense number 2, 15-yard penalty will be first down. That's number 2's first foul for unsportsmanlike conduct.
On Maurice French.
And you just can't have it. I mean, we've seen it enough this year, Dave, on the games that we've done where you get a first down. There's just no need for it. And it's right to be flagged. He's up in the, it's basically taunting. You have a drop on third down. You have a unsportsmanlike penalty there. And so
look at this. I mean, French with his own teammate Matthews on the sideline. So Pitt going after each other. Pickett will throw, and a low pass and incomplete. Trying to calm down here, and here comes Coach Narduzzi. Pat Narduzzi, a former D1 linebacker, and trying to calm those guys down.
I was just going to say, I'm pretty sure in our few meetings with Pat Narduzzi that he does not stand for that. And so I'm not surprised to see him immediately get over there and basically say enough of it.
Yeah, I don't think Pat stands for a whole lot.
No.
That kind of behavior. 2nd and 10. And a handoff, it's Carter, and denied. And somebody lost a helmet. That is Kobe Kwanzaa will have to sit this play out. Now, this was right before the game. Tempers were already flaring. Now, didn't come to blows or anything like that, but it was getting close.
Wow, it was chippy, and I was down there prior to this before guys had pads on, and there was talking going on about where guys were warming up, and maybe that's what happens with Pitt. The last, ACC game they played was in August. We're in October now.
Yep, Mack with the reception, but stopped by Brandon Hill. Pitt on top here is 7-3. That'll bring up 4th down and 7. And Kessman coming on. 3rd-year starter as the kicker, son of a Marine. He's also a former boxer. Owns the longest field goal at Heinz Field, college or pro, against Syracuse last year, 55 yards. This one from 43. And that one is on target and perfect. So Pitt adds on top 10-3 as we look at the turnovers so far tonight for the Duke Blue Devils.
It's really been shocking. Quentin Harris, who's been a tremendous runner, has been secure with the football, trying to cover it up. Just gets hit, ball comes out, throw is inaccurate on the slant, thrown behind, gets tipped up in the air. Tips and overthrows are the last thing you like as a quarterback, and then as he's trying to throw the crossing route, just doesn't see Paris Ford reading his eyes. And really, kind of 3 terrible plays the last few possessions for Quentin Harris.
And for more on Harris, we toss it down to Katie George.
Well, guys, Harris had a long phone conversation with OC Zach Roper. He took him through what he saw before he threw that last interception. Harris said, I felt like I had the matchup I wanted, but I just did not do a good job reading the defense. I will say he was very calm and in control having that conversation, which speaks to his maturity.
Not quite as calm and under control on the Pittsburgh sideline, even though they have the 10-3 lead. So 1:35 to go. A player down, a little bit of a tangle up right around the 22-yard line. But everybody is up and okay. Duke with 3 turnovers in the last 4 offensive plays. So they have an awful lot to clean up.
And if you think about how poorly it's gone recently for them in terms of the turnovers, still just 10-3. So, you know, in our interaction with Quentin Harris, Dave, I don't know what you think, but doesn't seem like a guy that's going to get rattled easily.
First and 10, running away from pressure, and he'll fire that one out of bounds. And pretty good pressure on that play by Brightwell, the middle linebacker.
And Brightwell comes, you know, I think he's reading run because it's an RPO type play. And when a linebacker fires and you don't hand the ball to the running back, you know, there's really no one there to pick him up if the run is being blocked.
Second and 10. Swings it out for Durant, and he dropped it, but it's incomplete. An incomplete pass. And Durant cannot hang on. Third down. Duke coming in at 3-1. Great road win at Virginia Tech, 45-10. They fell behind early on a field goal, then ripped off 31 unanswered points. So their offense can certainly get rolling. It has not been doing that tonight. And a short throw. Another flag is down on a completion to Bracey. With 1:19 to go in the first. So all of a sudden a bunch of flags here in the last several minutes here in Durham, North Carolina.
Pass interference, defense, number 11. Penalty is at the spot of the foul, automatic first down.
Yeah, you just see, you know, Dane Jackson just getting a little handsy as Bracey is trying to run him to the down marker, turn around for the football. And, you know, when your arm is extended, even if it's not a big grab, the officials are going to want to call it.
First down on a penalty on Jackson. And with flat, that one dropped. Another incompletion. It's Durant again, having a little trouble hanging on to the football here in the late stages of the first quarter.
Britton Brown, the running back for Duke, out for this game. And you know, I think there was a hope that Deion Jackson and Durant would really step up and play well, but 2 critical drops.
Second down 10. And another penalty flag on the collar. Emma Baldonado, a 6'5", 250-pound freshman. And he'll get flagged.
Baldonado is not blocked. And he kind of loses, you know, his leverage. And I'm not so sure he was inside there.
Play, one against each team. Personal foul, force collar tackle. Defense, number 12. Holding, offense, number 63. Those fouls offset, replay third down.
But did that horse collar, did that look more like the jersey to you?
No, that's the jersey, Dave. He's on the nameplate of Durant there. That's a fistful of jersey. I mean, even on his shoulder. You know, I mean, that's not back in the shoulder pads.
Baldonado from Rome, Italy, only played 1 year of high school football. Jackson straight up the middle, taken down by Danielson. And a gain of 4. So third down and 6. And Harris with 26 seconds to go in the quarter, trying to scamper to his left. And stopped by Cam Bright and John Morgan, both in on the tackle. To bring up 4th down and 5. As we come upon the end of the first quarter. And Pitt with a 10-3 lead on the Duke Blue Devils. Last year, an absolutely wild game. This one more under control, scoring-wise. 10-3, Pitt in front as we head to the second quarter in Durham. Aaron Matthews dancing it up, and good start for them on top 10-3 over the Duke Blue Devils as we move on to the second quarter.
It's like you in between breaks.
That's me in my dreams. So Duke to punt. And French back for it with a fair catch. Weekday mornings on the ACC Network. Packer and Durham exclusively talk ACC sports, football, field hockey, everything. They cover it all every Monday through Friday from 7 to 10 a.m. here on ACCN and also on the ESPN app. Katie George with her weekly appearance. Always look forward to it.
Would you like to explain why you were not here last week?
Well, I wasn't here last week because I was giving Dave O'Brien a chance to make his debut on Packer and Durham. Tim Hasselback and I come on every week. What's the deal with Dave O'Brien? He's done with the Red Sox. He's free. He's got all the time in the world.
I think that's incredibly unfair of my partner to throw me under the bus like that, but okay, Katie.
Tim and I are on every week, David.
Yes. We know, by the way, why you weren't here last week. You were involved in a huge wedding. You weren't getting married yourself, but a dear friend of yours was.
Forever a bridesmaid, Dave. Forever a bridesmaid.
All right.
I just want to get back to how much time you have on your hands, Dave. Yeah. I didn't realize you had so much free time.
Neither did I until Katie decided to reveal that to the world. Thank you so much, Katie. We'll talk about that later. 2nd down and 6, and a handoff for Sibley. Trying to make some room on that right side, stopped by Brandon Hill. Yeah, my baseball season is over. In fact, it ended far too soon for the Boston Red Sox, and I know you're a big fan, but playoffs are churning along without the Sox this year. And great to be here in Durham tonight. An ACC Saturday night, football feel in the air, which is wonderful. The temperatures have finally dropped. Big heat wave here over the last week or so. On the pass and completed to Griffin Stewart, the number 2 tight end.
And I think they're looking to get more out of their tight ends. And Griffin Stewart, 6'5", 260, runs well, does just a nice job of using the leverage of the defense to run a little out route. Good timing by Pickett. You know, I mentioned they have talented receivers. I think finding someone else in their passing game to work inside, a guy like Griffin Stewart, could really help elevate everybody else because of his size.
1st and 10 for the Panthers on the move here. Pickett back to throw. Stepping up, now scampering. Picks up the 1st down as he slides ahead. Well, made a smart decision.
And it's a really good job of Kenny Pickett. He's working to his right. They're trying to get a little wheel route to French. He doesn't like it. And then you just see, you know, the competitiveness getting up the field. And you just think about this, you know, at the end, he slides feet first. You know, Hill's coming in behind, but this is a guy that, you know, had to come out of the UCF game, missed last week because of the shoulder injury. Not afraid to tuck it and run it.
Oh, is this a face mask here at the end?
I would say so. He's got a handful of it.
Sure. Certainly had enough of it. Man injured. And a man down for the Duke Blue Devils. And that is Trayvon McSwain, and we'll be back with more in a moment. Welcome back to ACC Network Primetime Football, presented by Geico. The Pitt Panthers with a 10-3 lead on the homestanding Duke Blue Devils. Dave O'Brien alongside Tim Hasselbeck and Katie George. Kenny Pickett has the Panthers on the move here. Just picking up a 1st down right at the 50-yard line. Pickett really bonded with Peyton Manning this summer at Manning camp. Said he got a chance to pick the brain of the 14-time Pro Bowler for an hour at dinner one evening, and he said at a Chalk Talk he took about 10 pages of notes. He said, I barely said anything. It was just me scribbling notes the entire time.
You know, the passing camp, Manning passing camp is a great opportunity for so many of the college quarterbacks that get invited there, and it's good to see guys try to make the most of it like Pickett seems to have done.
1st and 10 right in midfield. Wants to throw again. He's flushed out of there. And throws it short and incomplete.
You know, Hill does an excellent job bringing the pressure inside. He's just going to come inside with Morrissey here, and Morrissey doesn't do a very good job of picking him up. And so that's why, as he comes to the right side of him, that's why Kenny Pickett was flushed so quickly. A lot of times for a center, it's hard, to get a sense after snapping the football, if you're planning on sliding, to have a linebacker, end up hitting you in the opposite A gap.
On 2nd down, we talked about how they love to throw the football. Flag down. This one complete, very short on the far left side, but a flag on the play. .12:06 on the second.
Holding, offense, number 57. 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
They'll get Gabe Hoy on the hold.
Yeah, he just basically oversets. You see him on the left side of your screen there. Just gets that hand out and, grabs Jordan as he's trying to pursue the quarterback, Kenny Pickett. And so.
Yeah, Hoy, a tough man to miss, 6'6", 310.
And they think he has a chance to be special, but you can just see what happens. Doesn't matter how good you are. If you overset somebody and then the quarterback starts to move, you don't know where he is, you reach out and grab, and the officials are going to see that.
Long 2nd down for Pickett. He'll dump that one over the middle to Mack, who's a real playmaker and a receiver they look to tack on yards after the catch, but he was stopped by Waters.
And I've been impressed, Dave, when you look at Waters, Singleton, Michael Carter. I've been impressed with the safety players for Duke and their ability to tackle in the open field.
3rd and 18. Nearly picked off by the Duke Blue Devils. Dylan Singleton has been real active, the senior. There's another flag.
Roughing the passer. Defense, number 86. 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
Yeah, Drew Jordan on the hit.
Yeah, they brought a pressure, ran a little twist, and there's no need for it. You're late. Quarterback makes a bad throw, but because you just don't want to hold up, you cost your offense an opportunity to get the football back.
Automatic 1st down. And now Nick Patty is in, the backup quarterback for Pitt, who got the start last week against Delaware.
It's actually 2 quarterbacks, Dave, because Jeff George Jr. is down to the right.
And a broken play, and that one dies early on the run by Carter. Kobe Kwanzaa there for the stop. And now Pickett back in.
You almost wonder if Mark Whipple had an idea that, hey, if the quarterback takes a shot, he missed last week because of his shoulder.
Right.
If he takes a shot, we'll have some of that zone read stuff that we've had in the plan anyway for Nick Patty. So just go ahead and put it out there to just check on your quarterback.
Pickett will throw, bobbled, and held on to by French. Eventually getting control of it, stopped by Hill, who shoved him out.
It's a super athletic play by French, running a shallow cross. When the ball is on the back hip behind you and you're running full speed, that's a tough play to make. I think it looks easy to people, but it's difficult. That's an outstanding catch by Maurice French, who had a drop earlier in this game.
10th play of the drive coming up. 3rd down and 1. And the quarterback keeps it to pick up the 1st down. You got it. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Pitt Panthers with a 10-3 lead here at Duke. Well, Pickett's career got off with an excellent start, upsetting then #2 Miami as a freshman in his first career start, showing great poise off the play action. I'll throw and connects to Mack again. Shoved out by Carter. So a slight loss brings up 2nd down and 10.
Cody Pickett looks like, Kenny Pickett looks like he's got a pretty good lather from running back and forth. A couple move the pocket plays, some scrambling. I mean, hydrate at halftime.
2nd and 10 on the back pedal, and that pass is tipped and caught. What great concentration on a couple of plays on this drive by French.
It is great concentration. It's really not a good throw by Kenny Pickett. Doesn't get enough air under this football. Is really underthrown, but Hill jumps up to try to make a play on it and tips it, and I think actually helps it actually make it to Maurice French so he can make a play on it.
For a gain of 11. He'll slide ahead. Pickett on the keep with about 8.5 minutes to go here before halftime, and Pitt looking to add on a lengthy drive engineered by Kenny Pickett. Back starting at quarterback after missing last week's victory against Delaware. He'll throw again. Time to do it. Throws for the end zone, but incomplete. Looking for Mack again. So the 15th play of this drive coming up for the Panthers. So 3rd down and 9. So far 14 plays on the drive, 56 yards. It's taken nearly 7 minutes. And flags down.
False start. Offense, number 57. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
The Duke defense was going to come out with an all-out blitz there. It was a full blitz, sending everybody playing man across the board with no help, and them showing the pressure. That Duke defense showing the pressure is what made Pitt kind of flinch for that penalty there. It'd be interesting now to see if Duke decides to play coverage now that the down and distance has changed.
Yeah, it moves the ball to 3rd and 14. He'll throw again. Oh, tough catch on the play by Jared Wayne. And they're into the red zone.
It's a really, really good play by Swain. You see the play action. That gets the defense moving side to side. And then Swain is coming across the middle. You talk about, courage coming across the middle, extending your hands there. Really well done.
Gain of 17. And that pass picked off. Intercepted by the Duke Blue Devils. Picked up by Marquise Waters. The strong safety. Johnny on the spot.
It really was, and Kenny Pickett just doesn't see him. He's working to his left. And Waters looked like he was maybe a little bit confused lining up before the snap. And it's why he was to Pickett's right. And so Kenny Pickett coming off the play fake, trying to force the ball inside. Waters doing an excellent job of looking up the receiver, coming up with the interception. Huge stop for that Duke defense. And you just look at kind of the life that it brings back into this Duke team. But you look at what Pittsburgh was trying to do. They ran the same play they ran on the 3rd down. They're going to fake the run action of Lee Carter and try to get it to Wayne in behind. The problem is that Kenny Pickett doesn't see Waters, who really works back to the middle of the field, looking up the route, picks up the football late. It's a good catch on the ball, but just flipped the play, and that Duke defense was like, all right, fool me once. Shame on me, but you're not going to fool me twice.
Now complete to Calhoun, stopped by DeMar Hamlin. But I mean, it stopped a long drive, which ate up about 7 minutes for the Pitt Panthers. Looked like they're about to punch it in. Hell in empty again here on 3rd down and 5. Calhoun can't get free. Eaten up by Killen Johnson. So that will force 4th and 6 and a punt.
Yeah, and these empty sets, they're trying to go with a little wide receiver screen. You just see the way that the speed and athleticism, and you see Eric Hallett in there as well, beating the perimeter blocks. And so, you know, just spitting out to the perimeter and trying to make plays, not really working out of that empty set for the Duke offense.
Now French back at about the 44-yard line on a punt by Parker, and it is short. So Pitt with outstanding field position with a 10-3 lead, 6 minutes to go before halftime.
You know, BC Louisville, that was crazy. Backup quarterbacks, plenty of offense, and that's a big win for Scott Satterfield in the conference.
We'll see Louisville next week against undefeated Wake Forest. Great field position here from the 45-yard line. For the Pitt Panthers, Hornbuckle with a tackle on French, who can be used as both a running back and a very talented wide receiver.
Yeah, and you can see that they know he needs to get the football. And then we've talked about the running backs being banged up for Pitt. And so what do? You find your best run after the catch receiver, try to find ways to get him the ball in passing plays that are like run plays.
Senior with 40 receptions coming into this game. He's a team captain. Carter to run. Carter dazzled Duke last year with 137 rushing yards on just 7 carries. They could not stop him. And as mentioned, Pickett getting a lot of mileage on his walk over to his OC.
A walk and a run, but I will say, I mean, he's in the huddle now. There's 25 seconds still left on the play clock, and you know, you're breaking the huddle before 15, and so you have plenty of time, and it's worked for this Pitt offense.
It has. 3rd down and 1. It's Carter again. Looking for that 1st down. Bouncing outside. A 5'9" sophomore. Not a big kid, but he packs a punch.
Yeah, you mentioned I've been impressed with the way that he's run the football for not a big guy, and they're going to need him to. You know, with the injuries at running back, he's going to play more, and you know, not the typical power back, but running with some power.
He'll throw and complete. Taysir Mack on a connection. And another 1st down. That's a 12-yard pickup.
I mentioned about Mack, the separation that he gets running the route. I mean, he's a very, very good route runner. 6'2", 205. He's probably the fastest wide receiver in the group for them, and really good route runner. And you can see that Pickett's got a nice feel for him because that ball came out well before Mack was coming out of his break.
Remember now, in their last drive, 16 plays, 68 yards, but it ended with a pick in the end zone. He'll go over the top. This one trying for the end zone again, but incomplete, overthrown. Intended for Mack. We take a look at tonight's player spotlight, brought to you by Geico.
Yeah, you look at Taysir Mack. I mean, just 112 receiving yards per game over the last 3. You know, when they lose Trey Tipton, they're looking for guys to step up at the wide receiver position, and Taysir Mack has absolutely done it. And you know, I think so many people have focused on Maurice French. He's a great returner, and he's been so electric with the ball in his hands. But I think the biggest help to this Pitt passing attack has been Taysir Mack.
Again, 32 receptions coming into play this evening. Quickly out to French. And gobbled up by Dylan Singleton, very active as a free safety. And now Taysir Mack back in on 3rd and 9.
And as a quarterback, you love that. Guy runs a go route, and he's like, hey, I need a breather. And then all of a sudden you look to 3rd and 9, and you look in the huddle, and you're like, hey, where is he? And you see him running out. It's a nice feeling.
In this quarter now, Pitt on 3rd down, 4 for 4. Pickett has to move. Throws. And incomplete. wanted Mack again, but came up empty.
He did, and I'm not sure Mack was expecting the football, and Warren, the left tackle, just gets beat right away inside. You see the swim move inside, and it's a nice job of Malik Carter saving his quarterback, but you never want to throw late down the middle as a quarterback. Kenny Pickett does there, and he's fortunate that something bad didn't happen with the football.
So here comes Alex Kessman, junior kicker from 38 yards. Kicks like this do not give him any difficulty at all, and he nails that. And the Pitt Panthers on top here, 13-3 at Duke, a 38-yard field goal to extend the lead, Tim.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, Narduzzi probably needs to be a little bit frustrated with his offense. I mean, the field position that they've had, and the fact that the score is 13-3, considering the turnovers and where the turnovers had happened, and then the stop after the interception, getting the ball on the plus side of the 50.
Yeah, that drive began at the 45-yard line. Here's Deion Jackson trying to make something. He broke free of that tackle. Now he's tied up and brought down with exactly 3 minutes to go here before halftime. Turnover is a huge part of the problem for the Duke Blue Devils. They've turned it over 3 times here in the first half. You look at their drives, and a couple of interceptions by Quentin Harris.
You mentioned how long the previous drives were for Pitt. So it's been a while since we've seen Quentin Harris. He was only out there for 3 plays.
Right.
So hopefully for him in this Duke offense, there's a bit of a reset with that break.
Daniel Jones, backup, was taken over as the lead quarterback. He had a long wait to get the job. He's going to throw on first down. And some miscommunication there with Noah Gray, probably his favorite receiver. He was covered by Cam Bright to bring up second down. Gray has been pretty quiet so far, a guy who had caught 22 passes, 2 touchdowns coming into play. Not much going on in the passing game here in the second quarter for the Blue Devils. Going to try and keep it on the ground here, and that's Durant. Stopped by Dane Jackson. And a gain of 4.
That's a big tackle by Dane Jackson, and playing quarters coverage, and you see how everyone gets involved, and there's that scrum. He pops out of it. If Dane Jackson doesn't make that play as he comes inside, then Durant is off and running.
Harris's number 1 target has been number 5, Jalen Calhoun, who threw a 25-yard touchdown pass against Virginia Tech on the pressure. Nowhere to hide there. 4th down and 6. Baldonado came at him, and so did Campbell.
There's some confusion here by Harris. Basically what you're going to end up getting is you're going to end up getting a double here on Noah Gray, and then you're getting a pressure inside here, and it's not communicated and it's not blocked correctly. So you have an A-gap runner free to the quarterback. And if you think about what Duke has been able to do so well, it's communicate between the quarterback and the offensive line of who they're blocking, which is why they haven't been sacked very often.
So Parker has to punt again. He gets it off, and it's French to take to the left. Across the 50-yard line. He cuts it back inside. Still on his feet across the 30. Across the 20. And taken down on a terrific run. Finally stopped by Michael Carter. The French continues to have an outstanding first half.
And really, we talked about French being a guy that once the ball was in his hands at wide receiver, that's why they've been handing them football in the run game. And then look at him go in the return game. It's a good job of the Pitt group creating a wall for him. He's able to get to the sideline and then cut across the field. And another great starting point for that Pitt offense inside the 20-yard line of Duke.
Thanks to a 50-yard return. French was top 10 nationally last year in kick return yardage. So the ball on the 19-yard line of the Duke Blue Devils. 1st and 10. Just over 2 minutes to go before halftime. Going to try it here for Mack, and the catch in the end zone. An outstanding grab for a touchdown. Taysir Mack. He hauls it in. Well, I like to say a great catch. You love to say a great throw.
Well, it's a good throw because it gives him a chance to make a play on it. And I believe that he's got control of that football. And he's in bounds because that's an elbow down, which would certainly count. But it's one-on-one coverage. Right after a big play, take a shot. And to Sear Mack coming up big.
Six receptions, 60 yards, and now a touchdown. And Kessman on for the extra point. And Pitt taking control of this game here in the second quarter. And a flag down. Minute 59 to go in the second.
Offside, defense, number 92. The penalty is half the distance to the goal. Replay the try.
Oh, those two hooking up on a beauty. Pickett with great touch and Mack with a terrific catch.
And Pickett just getting a feel now, I think, for what Whipple wants to do and having an understanding of why he's calling plays that he's calling. And that's a good example. Right after a big play, taking a shot, knowing what your offensive coordinator wants you to look at.
Ooh, missed the extra point. 19-3 Pitt. As we take a look at our New York Life drive recap.
If you look at what the Pitt Panthers were doing after the big punt return, they're trying to define it for the quarterback. You get into a trip set, so motion out here and you have three receivers out here. That is going to force a rotation by the secondary. They do that, which means you have one-on-one down the bottom of your screen, and that's your best wide receiver running on a corner, and it gives an easy opportunity for your quarterback to have the decision made before the ball is snapped, and then just give to Sear Mack a chance to go up and find the football.
So Pittsburgh with a 19-3 lead. Here on the road tonight in the ACC, trying to improve to 4-2. And looking to pick up their first victory inside the conference. They get their starting quarterback Cody Pickett back, and man, does that make all the difference. Well, join us on Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. for a special all-ACC edition of Operation Basketball, previewing the men's hoop season ahead, including coaches and players from each ACC team with their insights. Operation Basketball, Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern to noontime. And talking about dunking, this is what has really gotten Pitt Panthers going.
I mean, they're excited to do it because they've only been able to do it twice all year. So look at this, send it in Jerome. Look at that. Is that your call, Dave?
No, that was Bill Raftery, great legendary Bill Raftery. Incomplete. But the backboard did not survive.
No, it did not.
Just a little kiss.
Look at that. That I think there's been some of that going on that Pitt sideline, and
yes,
you might get some of that with some ACC basketball this year.
I'm looking forward to it, man. There might be a couple of backboards that come down. I'm not sure the athletic directors are thrilled to hear us say that. Second down and 10 for Harris. Just trying to get something going here before halftime. Complete at the 30. He connects with Bracey. But the turnovers have been a backbreaker, and a couple of big plays by the Pitt Panthers and by Pickett have them in command right now. Deion Jackson, the running back, along with Harris, off the pump and broken up. Dane Jackson there out of the cornerback spot for Pitt.
And Quentin Harris, trying to work young on the sideline, and kind of pumped originally, and I think that he felt like, hey, if I put it in the vicinity of a big, tall receiver, maybe he's got a catch radius to make a play. But there's a lot of contact. I mean, you see two hands by Dane Jackson all over Young. I thought the official was reaching for a flag, and
yes,
he didn't. And now there's plenty of time on the clock with timeouts left for that Pitt offense.
And they continue to get great field position because of French. This is a booming punt, though. Will drive him back, and he'll let it bounce. No time for Pickett to get back to work. His numbers so far tonight, 18 out of 30 with a touchdown and an interception. It's also rushed 3 times. So off a 58-yard punt. Football spotted at the 11-yard line here for Pitt.
It's interesting to see this Pitt offense, 30 attempts in the first half. Obviously, he's going to add to that in the situation of the game. And even though Pat Narduzzi would like to run the football, Mark Whipple, the new offensive coordinator, is here to help them score points. And I think that Pat Narduzzi is going to be happy with it, you know, with throwing it more than the running it if they're getting production.
Yeah, he's an outstanding offensive mind. What a hit there on Carter as he's taken down by Brandon Hill with authority. Oh, he read it beautifully.
You said it. He read it beautifully. The pulling offensive lineman, and Brandon Hill just basically fires his gun. He sees the offensive lineman pulling, sees Malik Carter coming across, and just sees it there. And that's just an excellent job being instinctive, and Hill be able to make a big play. And I think that allows, you know, David Cutcliffe to be in a situation where he wants to start calling timeouts.
So Duke will take a timeout here. With 1:13 to go, bring up 2nd down and 15. Tim, your thoughts on the first half? We mentioned turnovers for the Duke Blue Devils have really been damaging.
Yeah, the turnovers have been terrible. And I will say I've been surprised that Quentin Harris hasn't you know, played better. You know, we've seen them in these situations where they go empty. The quarterback seems so comfortable and so at ease with what the defense is doing. And I think ultimately, when we've seen him tonight, it's just they haven't protected him well. He hasn't been sure pre-snap, and we've seen bad decisions. And I think for me, that has been the biggest surprise.
He told us he makes regular phone calls, regular communication to Daniel Jones.
You think he was talking to him there?
I don't think that necessarily was the case there, but maybe after this game is done. And on a handoff, it's Sibley trying to get a little more room off the left to bring up 3rd down, tackled by Hornbuckle. There's a flag here with 1:08 to go before the half. 19-3 Pitt. So far shutting down the Duke offense almost entirely. And Duke defensively, they would be very tough coming in, particularly with all those quarterback sacks.
After the play, personal foul, defense number 49. 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
That's Kobe Kwanzaa.
Kobe Kwanzaa, a guy that is just so well respected on this Pitt defense, and I mean that you can't do that. And now when you think about this, there was Duke taking timeouts, thinking there would maybe be a situation where you get the football back. Well, now you just add 15 yards, you know, a field position for Pittsburgh, and they have their timeouts left. So just a terrible mistake by Kobe Kwanzaa, who, you know, when people talk about him, they talk about how hardworking he is, how selfless he is, how he's waited his turn to get an opportunity to play on this defense. And
yeah, and you see those hands, those thumbs all wrapped up. I mean, both of them. He had surgery a week before the season opener against Alabama. He really shouldn't be throwing punches at anybody.
No. Not to mention, I always laugh when I see guys throw those punches. You realize guys are wearing helmets,
yes,
right?
there's that too. So 1:08 to go in the second. 1st down and 10. After the penalty. Some pressure. And a big hit. That's a late hit. Brandon Hill. And Carter took the punishment in a big way.
After the play, personal foul, defense number 32. 10-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
The intentions are right here, but, you know, it's a screen.
Ooh.
I'm not sure that Hill understands if that ball is caught or not. He doesn't even go to the ground with him. Kind of lets up a little bit.
Brings up another 1st down. Pickett to throw to the sideline. To Mack again, who's been a very active target here in the late stages of the first half.
Yeah, and I think that Pitt, you know, they were running the football, trying to get Duke to take timeouts. You add 30 yards, you know, now all of a sudden it's pedal to the metal for this Pitt offense.
At Pitt, 3 timeouts remaining with about a minute to go. And complete on the quick one here to Mack again. Stopped by Johnson. That's a 5-yard gain.
You mentioned some of these, you know, how the length of some of these drives earlier, Dave. This defense for Duke been on the field forever in the second quarter.
Sure have. Pickett fires to the middle. Still on his feet, French, as he bounces outside. And another flag is down. Well, they've been raining down here in the second quarter. And French is injured. Oh, quickly getting back up. Took a pretty good hit. But back on his feet, great sign there with 39 seconds to go.
Personal foul, illegal blindside block. Offense number 10. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay first down.
That's on the tight end, Will Gregg.
You know, and it's a shame because Sear Mack, who we've been raving about, you know, catching the football, does a good job of working for his wide receiver, French. And there's Gregg coming back towards his own goal line. That's the red call by the officials.
I'll take one more look at the end here. What do you think?
I mean, I think the intention of these rules to eliminate the crackbacks is to protect players. And
Carter finds a hole, and down he goes. As he got inside the 50.
So to go back to that, Dave, I think that the way the rule is written, the way they want it officiated, is you have guys pursuing the play, unaware of somebody coming back towards them and even towards their own goal line. As you see Gregg, I mean, that's exactly what it is, and it's also fairly high, and so I think that the officials are going to throw a flag on plays like that every time.
So Pitt with a timeout. Still 2 remaining. 31 seconds to go before the break. Band getting ready to take the field here at Wallace Wade Stadium. And the Pitt Panthers on the move again with a 19-3 lead. And have the football, 2nd down and 9. Pat Narduzzi taking Pitt to their first appearance, the ACC championship game last year. And leading Pitt to their first Coastal Division title. Pickett on the back pedal again, throwing long, but out of bounds with Carter, the intended receiver. With 26 seconds to go. Pitt in the quarter. 4 out of 5 on 3rd down. Sibley on the move. And shy of the first. And let's see what they do here on 4th down and 3. With the clock running.
Hey, take a hill.
And we're going to take a timeout. With 1 second to go. And a reminder coming up at halftime, the ACC Network halftime report with Kelsey, Eric, Coach Rick, and EJ Manuel all coming your way. And a breakdown on a number of really zany games in the ACC today.
Yeah, crazy day in the ACC today, especially when you consider, you know, many of the teams that were off this week, and kind of getting a crazy end of the half here. You know, you have penalties, and then this situation here where, you know, Pitt decides to run it on 3rd and 6, and, you know, now they end up with a 4th and 3. They tried a 57-yard field goal a week ago, and Almost wonder if they would, which by the way had the distance. You almost wonder if they are thinking they're kicking a field goal from here, which would
be 60
like
yards.
A 60-yard field goal, but they tried a 57-yarder a week ago,
yep.
and it had the distance.
Yeah, Kessman's trouble has not been, you know, with the long ones. It's been with the shorter ones in his career.
And so this is strange, you know, when on that third down when you have timeouts.
Now going to go with a Hail Mary here. And the final second of the first half, and he's not going to get away. He's going to be sacked. KJ with the sack there, but a flag on the play. As the first half, they're going to pick that up, so that's the end of the first half with Pitt on top 19-3. Really taking command of this thing in the second quarter. And Pickett, and they need a quick score. Pitt trying to bring the hammer down, as they did several times, particularly in that second quarter on the offensive end. On the run, here's Carter, and he's knocked back. Just a moment ago, Cady with Coach Cutcliffe.
David, Pitt forced some early takeaways, which disrupted your offense's rhythm. How do you settle in this next half?
Well, you got to have some balance. They have 21 receptions. We have 9. You're not going to win many football games with that ratio. The thing that we've got to do is offensively, we really need to be ourselves. We may have been doing a few too many new things. If you do what your people are familiar with, don't give them too much credit and just be yourself. We got a chance to score some points.
You said in order to win this game, your team needed to exceed Pittsburgh's intensity. Where do you feel like you are with that?
Well, I think we've done that, but maybe to a fault. There was stuff that went on before the ball game, and I think we've got to let it get in our head. We need to use our energy to play football, not to worry about who wins what argument.
Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Tim, I find that a fascinating point. There was a bit of a dust-up. No punches thrown, nothing really physical, but a lot of words back and forth in the moments before the ball game began, before they even went to the locker rooms, and he thinks it may have influenced the early part of this game.
Yeah, and we're looking at what you're talking about right there, Dave, and I think David Cutcliffe has a great understanding of his team and the strength of his team, and not using your energy to get distracted by nonsense like this, and just being a smart football team, which is what they have been throughout the early part of the season.
As rolling, a flag down, incomplete pass. Intended for Noah Gray, the tight end, but a flag down.
Holding, offense, number 67. 10-yard penalty, third down.
They get Chambers, the right guard, for the hold. And we saw a lot of flags throughout the second quarter. So 14-10 to go here in the third.
We heard David Cutcliffe talk about how, you know, we maybe are doing too many new things. I mean, that's 4 straight 3-and-outs for that Duke offense.
Remember, French had a terrific return in the first half, 50 yards, and very dangerous back there as he awaits the punt by Parker. And a wobbly kick. That'll bounce around the 30. We talked about the big interceptions, 2 of them thrown by Harris.
Yeah, and Harris just misses on a slant. Ball's behind Young. He gets tipped, and Paris Ford's there, able to make a play on the football and run it back, and then he reads Quentin Harris's eyes is there for that interception. It was that Pitt defense really keeping the Duke offense in the football game, and then finally a rhythm for that Pitt offense. You find an isolation route to Desir Mack. Good ball by Kenny Pickett, and you know, that's how Pittsburgh finds themselves ahead 19-3.
And as you often say, great ball by the quarterback. I say terrific catch. It's amazing how that happens every week.
It is a little bit, but I think we could debate that throw a little. I mean, it was
no,
right to his hands.
Outstanding throw. Big hole opening up here for Sibley across the 50-yard line with a huge gain and a first down. He'll pick up 25 yards.
Yeah, and really good job of the guys up front. Look at the movement, and then look at Cradle get up to the second level on Hill, and that's really what allows Sibley to get into the second level without contact, and then you see the finish of the run, which is what everyone loves to see.
A lot of yardage after contact there on that play. He'll pound it through the middle again. Sibley with another carry. Again, remember, he is not the #1 or the #2 running back for the Pitt Panthers.
He's not, and technically he's probably the 4th guy when you consider Valik Carter's role. And he rushed for over 100 yards last week against Delaware, and the coaches felt like it was a lot of confidence, building for him in that game.
A direct snap to Sibley and taken down. They hit by Brandon Hill, who's been very active tonight for the Duke Blue Devils.
I think that's a good example of the confidence maybe Sibley's getting, and the fact that the coaches have the confidence in him to kind of put him in that wildcat situation with the direct snap.
3rd and 4. Pickett back in. Steps up in the pocket. That dissolves, and down he goes. Hit by Hornbuckle. Serenord in on a tackle as well.
And we've seen this from Kenny Pickett and the times that we've seen Pitt play this year. It's an excellent job of the guys up front. Look at the pocket that he has. I think he's just eager to climb up into it, and he's had a bit of a tendency to climb up into pressures with that rather than just trust the protection and play with some anticipation.
Talking to Mark Whipple there, the offensive coordinator. And again, they lead the ACC in passing attempts. Pitt attempting about 27 per game. On a fair catch right there at the 15. 5 for the Blue Devils, Tim. That was money, but after that, they've really struggled.
They have struggled as you just look at that first drive, and then since the 23 plays since, and really was that fumble, and then things just spiraled out of control after that. And what's remarkable, there hasn't been the sacks. It's not like Pitt has come up with any sacks tonight, right, but there's been plenty of pressure. Which
is very much their game. 24 of those, #2 in the country, incomplete. You wanted Aaron Young. But incomplete. Now, of course, he's responsible for the fumble as well as the 2 picks. A tough night for the talented quarterback. On the pump and underthrown. Young could not make the play, but not much on that throw.
You look at what happens here. They're bringing a pressure inside, and then what Harris wants to do is he wants to hit this wide receiver. But what happens is the corner jumps it, and so what happens is you have a free runner in Young running wide open, but it's the reset. He doesn't get reset and give him a good football, but Young probably scores if he can make a good throw.
No time this time. The ball's free. And Pitt has it again. Alexander with the fumble recovery. And knocking on the door right now. The forced fumble by Patrick Jones.
Holman and Baker, the left guard and left tackle, don't pass off the twist. And you see Des Alexander just get to Harris. And Jones is there as well. Ball comes out, and that's why Alexander's able to recover it. And there's your sack. And not only that, it's your sack fumble for that Pitt defense.
We've been talking about it all night, how effective they are getting to the quarterback. The second time they forced a fumble on Quentin Harris. And a group celebration for the Pitt Panthers. 1st and goal. Sibley trying to negotiate his wing inside. Now Pitt already on top, 19-3. Stopped by Kobe Kwanzaa. And what could be an incredibly damaging turnover here for the Duke Blue Devils. Second and goal inside the 5. Pickett rolling right. Looking for the end zone. Touchdown. Griffin Stewart with a catch. And they do not wait around. They bang it in quickly.
And you could see that Pitt offense, with the way they were breaking the huddle, they were sprinting to the line almost like they wanted to catch the Duke defense off guard. Ran the ball on 1st down, came back with a play action. Really ends up being a great catch by Griffin Stewart. for the touchdown.
So Kessman for the extra point. And that makes it 26-3. The Pitt Panthers with a big turnover force.
Well, and they're finding out that they come in bunches. Just two coming into the game, come up with yet another one. The sack, fumble, and then Cody Pickett able to cap it off to his tight end for the score.
Would you rescue me when I'm by myself, but I need your love?
Entirely different set of circumstances tonight. Pitt has won 8 of the last 9, however. Last Duke win in double overtime. They're dominating this one. Pitt 17 points off Duke turnovers. They've scored 10 off the last 3 of them.
You know, it seems like they've been coming with great field position as well, Dave, which has really made it difficult on the Duke defense.
Well, Paris Ford's had a big night. First 2 interceptions of his career for Pitt. It's been a nightmare for Harris. 4 turnovers, 2 fumbles. He's been picked off 2 times.
Yeah, and it's really surprising. You know, we've seen him play, you know, 4 games, and we've seen him make great decisions. We've seen him protect the football, and I think it's been somewhat of a shock, but clearly Pittsburgh hasn't had a nice plan for him.
And they've gotten Cody Pickett back, and that's given them a huge lift. They missed him last week, even though they won the ball game. They barely got by Delaware. Jackson with the carry. And stopped by Brightwell. So 26-3. Pitt firmly in control in this one. And on the road, trying to win for the first time this season in the ACC.
And Duke going back to this option set, which they've done in some of every single game this season.
Jackson takes a big whack there by Kellen Johnson. He can lay a hit on you. The 6'2", 230-pound senior out of Dallas.
I mean, Kylan Johnson, oh my word. I mean, they're running a dive play. He scrapes across on the backside, and this thing is outstanding. You see him scrape across the backside. The tackle's not able to get there, and he just brings a punch when he gets there.
3rd and 1. Hand up again for Jackson, but he runs right into a wall there. Brightwell, first man to get to him. Does pick up the first down.
And I will say, if you think about just running this option offense that people familiar with the ACC have seen at Georgia Tech when Paul Johnson was there, look, it's been a change of pace for this Duke offense, but just got them a first down after they had been struggling. And I think for David Cutcliffe, that probably in itself is a success.
Yeah, they're first since the first quarter. And Harris back to throw. Plenty of time in the pocket. Off the hands of his receiver. Off Jackson.
You know, they obviously don't complete the pass, but just notice how the pass protection was different. You get into that option set, you've had a hard time protecting your quarterback the entire night, and then next thing you know, you throw out of that set, and your quarterback has a pocket and just need the receiver to come up with a catch.
So from the 30, it's 2nd and 10. Durant in motion. Jackson to try and run it again. And tackled by Patrick Jones. Jones, the junior from Chesapeake, Virginia, has 2 of their 25 sacks on the season. That'll bring up 3rd down and 9 for the Blue Devils. Quentin Harris wants to throw and got it there in time. Got it to Aaron Young. But short of the first down. I was saying he dropped it. Let's take a look.
And I think Pat Narduzzi was helping them with the call.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good throw. But it's clearly a drop, but they called it a catch.
The ruling on the field is a completed pass. The previous play is under further review.
Oh, this will be a quick turnaround.
Should be. That's an easy one.
We'll take the break. 26-3, Pittsburgh. On the field, it has been overturned on review as an incomplete pass. And take a look.
The right decision on the review is that ball is not caught, which changes things for Duke because they were going to go for it on 4th and short and certainly not doing it on 4th and 9.
So Parker to punt again. And French back at the 25. He's broken one off for 50. And this one to play on a bounce. He scoops it, trying to get out of there, but can't. Well covered by the special teams of the Blue Devils. Now weekday mornings on ACC Network, Packer and Durham exclusively talking ACC sports. From football to field hockey, and Tim Hasselbeck.
Right, Wednesdays, 9:30 Eastern.
Make sure you tune it in. That is must listen, and it's every Monday through Friday, 7 to 10 a.m. here on ACCN, also on the ESPN app. And Katie George Fridays at 9:30. Once in a while, she will toss a colleague right under the bus. Yep. So be prepared for that as well.
We're in negotiation.
That is must-see TV, gentlemen. 9:30s on Fridays, not Wednesdays.
Fridays. That's the tune-in.
Don't get it twisted. Just kidding, Tim.
Don't get it twisted.
I watch you every Wednesday.
But I think we're in negotiation for one of the days of the week for you, Dave. I know that you've, with all the time you have on your hands now.
It's a lot for that, yeah. Yep. Sure, that'll be one they absolutely want to lock up.
Pull you off the couch to get you involved.
Pull me out of bed. Well, coming up on 8 minutes to go here in the third. And Pitt on top 26-3. Carter in the backfield along with Kenny Pickett. Trying to find room to the left, but stacked up and stopped by Taj Rice. And we were talking about Kenny Pickett in Manning camp. He attended that camp with some terrific talent like Trevor Lawrence, FSU's Alex Hornibrook, and others. Said he learned a tremendous amount. Took a lot of notes. And had the time of his life. Flagged down as he is back to pass and is broken up. Incomplete. He wanted the tight end Grag, but a flag down.
Illegal shift offense. 2 players moving at the same time and did not set. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is 4th down.
Josh Blackwell will step on.
So 7:16 to go in the third. And Pitt will punt on 4th down and 2 from the 26. Josh Blackwell back for the punt. Got his leg into that. Blackwell taken down as he crossed the 30. 52-yard punt, 9-yard return. Let me take a look at the ACC Coastal standings now. Virginia leading the way at 2-0 in conference play. Duke at 3-1 overall, but in deep trouble here tonight. And Pitt looking for that first win in the conference.
Yeah, and it's going to be I think it's one of those ones that's going to go down to the wire, just with teams and facing each other as we go here. And as we're watching Pittsburgh and we're seeing Virginia at the top, and we'll go back to that week 1 matchup, and you look into November, and that's going to look like a critical game.
Play fake and a complete pass right over the middle, and complete to Calhoun to pick up the first down. So 1st and 10 for Duke on a 12-yard gain. And Quentin Harris trying to make something happen with the football. It's Jackson through the heart of the line. That's a gain of 6. Jackson will get the carry again. And not far enough for a first down. Stopped by Brightwell.
You see Pittsburgh, one of the things they try to do when Duke tries to get a little tempo going, you see the defensive line stem at the last minute, and they brought a pressure that last time as well.
An important call here for Harris. Handoff once again for Jackson. Let's see if they got it here. Paris Ford in for the hit. Looks like they picked it up. And they'll move the chains. So Jackson, some big carries so far on this drive for Duke. Deion Jackson, a junior from Atlanta. They like to throw to him too. They try the trickery here in the pass. That's going to be picked off. Dane Jackson. And Jackson finally taken down. There's a flag on the play back at the 26-yard line. A penalty with 5:18 to go in the third. Dane Jackson with the interception. See if this is pass interference, though, on DeMar Hamlin.
There's no foul for defensive pass interference. The pass was uncatchable. Result of the play is an interception, be first down kick.
So the interception holds up, the third of the night for the Pitt Panthers.
Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with this. It's a reverse pass. Basically what they're going to do is they're going to come this way as Harris goes out there, and it's Jackson here's who's going to get some depth. But look, you never feel great about non-quarterbacks throwing the football, but this ball is going to land on the 35-yard line, or the 25-yard line. I don't know how that's not catchable. And there's no question that Hamlin, he's got his arm around him. That's a catchable football.
Well, Aaron Young picked off. Pickett racing and fires it out of bounds. And good pressure on that play by Derek Tangelo.
And really, Tangelo, it gets the pressure. He should have drawn the holding penalty. As he's getting to the quarterback, he essentially gets tackled. You know, and that allows Pickett to throw it away, which leads to a 2nd and 10 rather than 2nd and 17.
3 interceptions thrown by Duke tonight, and they've also fumbled it 2 times. Bonds with a stop on Sibley, who got to midfield right at the 50. So 3rd down and 8. Pickett 22 out of 37, 158 yards, 2 touchdowns. Picked off 1 time tonight. And a lengthy 3rd down. In the pocket. Now Lang dropped it off.
Yeah, this should be grounding. That ball doesn't get back to the line of scrimmage. He maybe gets outside of the tackle box, but that ball is nowhere near reaching the line of scrimmage.
And now they throw it, yes. Going to be grounding.
Intentional grounder, offense, number 8. The penalty is a loss of down, foul, 4th down.
There's all kinds of pressure on Kenny Pickett, and they're trying to run a shallow cross to his right. French is, you know, instead of coming underneath, Waters goes over the top, and so as Pickett tries to throw it away, there's no receiver in the area, and that ball doesn't get to the line of scrimmage. And
he got slammed down pretty hard there as well. And on that helmet. So Pitt to punt. Dulu got it off and really drove it. Another flag back at the 30-yard line on a fair catch, but a flag here. And we'll wait for that call in front of the break. 4:23 to go in the 3rd. And Pitt in control 26-3 here at Wallace Wade Stadium.
Holding, kicking team, number 94. 10-yard penalty, first down. Timeout.
Well, Pittsburgh ahead 26-3 with 4:23 to go here in the third. It's our ACC Network primetime matchup between the Pitt Panthers and the Duke Blue Devils. Thanks so much for joining us tonight from Wallace Wade Stadium here in Durham, North Carolina. Dave O'Brien, Tim Hasselbeck, and Katie George. And Quentin Harris and the Blue Devils desperate to get something going offensively and stop turning the football over, which has been a giant problem tonight. And Durant with a good gain on first down, picks up 9. Pat Narduzzi never satisfied. Chatting up his offensive coordinator, Mark Whipple. And then goes and gets in somebody's face.
Here's how that went. What was the call? Okay, that was the call. Okay, now I know who to yell at. Okay, okay. Wait a second. You called that and we didn't block it? Okay, wait. I'll be right back. I'm going to go yell at the offensive line.
I know exactly where to go.
Okay, before I yell at them, just make sure I'm yelling at the right people. Okay, can I confirm that?
Hard driving former Division I linebacker. Ball in the 47. First and 10. Harris wants to throw. He took a pretty good hit after the incompletion. They brought pressure there. Cam Bright, and he came quickly.
Yeah, and you just look at the bringing a slot pressure, and Baker, the left guard, just doesn't get out there, and Cam Bright drills Harris right in the back because Baker doesn't slide out far enough to pick up the blitzing Bright.
Boy, it has been a tough night for Harris. Certainly his toughest of the season. Durant, not a whole lot of room to negotiate. Off to the left. Tied up by Twyman and Alexander. They've both been doing very good work tonight for the Pitt Panthers.
And Pitt brings basically the exact same pressure. And Duke was trying to run right at it, and there's no one to block the blitzing linebacker.
Third down and 10. Harris to throw. Nobody home there. Incomplete, intended for Noah Gray. And typically those two have great communication.
And I feel like what's happening to Quentin Harris is because he's been taking a lot of hits, because he's been under pressure, he's speeding things up. And so as Gray is trying to run that little option route and break out, Harris is just a step too soon in terms of when he's throwing that football, and his tight end's head isn't even turned.
Now Parker's been very busy punting the football tonight. Paris Ford, who has 2 interceptions, drops it. He fumbled it there right around the 5-yard line. Duke may have it. And indeed they do. And they've been looking for a break all night long. 2:44 to go here in the third.
You know, and it's been interesting. You mentioned that it's Ford back there, not French, and French has done a great job fielding punts all night. Mark Whipple had mentioned to us that there was a little bit of a concern about overusing French, which may be why we're seeing Paris Ford as the punt returner. Ball comes out, and that is a massive, massive break for this Duke football team.
Shaka Hayward with the recovery, and a huge one. Well, not much has gone right for the Blue Devils here tonight on their home field until this moment. So it's first and goal inside the 5.
And if I was Duke, I would get back to that option offense that you had in earlier.
Harris under center. Wants to keep it. Driving forward, and he tiptoes into the end zone for a touchdown. Quentin Harris. So immediately they turn that turnover into big points to get right back in the game.
They absolutely do. They jump back into that option offense, and it's the QB follow play. They fake the dive, and then the quarterback follows Jackson after the fake, and it's a nice run, and it's a good job of getting movement coming off the ball by that Duke offensive line.
A.J. Reed for the point after. And that will make it 26-10. And the pushing and shoving continues. It's been chippy since before the game got underway. There is actually a flag down inside the 5-yard line. 2:41 to go in the third. And Duke climbing back in it here against the Pitt Panthers. So a 2-score game. And a long conversation here after the flag was dropped. We've seen a lot the last couple of weeks. A lot of flags dropped and picked up. Let's see what this is all about.
Seeming to be some jawing with Ford.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense number 12. That's a 15-yard penalty that will be enforced from the kickoff. That's number 12's first foul for unsportsmanlike conduct.
I'll take a look here.
Can't do that. Frustration after the muff punt and gets into it with Noah Gray. But really, they have him back there as a returner, so there's obviously some frustration. That happens. They run a play, they score, and here's what it is. They're bringing the motion here. It's a fake dive, and then it's going to be a quarterback follow. And Chambers, 67, the right guard, does a great job of continuing to fight with his man and giving Quentin Harris an alley to follow the back Jackson into the end zone. A good job of that Duke offense jumping back into that option set that they have shown a team every single week. And really tonight, it's been the best thing that the Duke offense has done. And now, Dave, with this field position, you're kicking off from the 50-yard line. Because of the fair catch rules, and the touchback, it would not surprise me to see some type of, onside kick, something to try to recover the football or at least pin Duke back deep.
Duke attempted an onside kick in the first quarter against Middle Tennessee State and recovered it. That is not how you do that. Right at the 25-yard line. So 2:41 to go in the third. 26-10 Pitt. So now we shall see if Kenny Pickett can get rolling again. Back in as the starting quarterback after missing the game last week. Number 5 in the country with almost 27 completions per game. And we'll have the football here, 1st and 10 on the 25. Pitt trying to engineer a drive here and complete for the first down. And a fumble on the play. It's loose and scooped up by Duke. The Blue Devils have it back. Brandon Hill. Leonard Johnson scooping that up. And they force another quick turnover.
It's a great job of Singleton, 16. He's chasing the play from behind and just whips at the ball. And that's what gets it loose. And you think about Matt Guerrieri, who we talked about, he wants to know where you are when the whistle blows. Think about this Duke defense. On the field, basically the entire second quarter, they catch a break on the muffed pump. And the very, very next play they're out on the field, a huge turnover. Yep. Great play by Dylan Singleton.
And now all of a sudden, it's Pitt coughing the ball up in a critical situation. A pitch from Harris to Jackson. Jackson, a stiff arm on that play. So a lot of life all of a sudden for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, and we've been talking about Cam Bright blitzing on 3rd and longs. Well, now you get a first down play. You're defending the option. And there's a nice stiff arm from Jackson. He's able to turn the corner, pick up some nice yards.
Stepped out right there. So the ball on the 35. And Jordan Waters on the dive. The closing moments of the 3rd quarter.
Dave, what's interesting about this, we think about this Pitt defensive line. They are attacking. They want to come up the field. They are harassing the quarterback. But when you defend the option, you now aren't coming up the field. You're basically playing, you know, side to side because you don't want to get creased by the option.
3rd down and 1. Pitt says they have a stop, but they're starting to move the chains. That's going to be a first down. So all the momentum has jumped completely over to the Duke Blue Devils.
It's completely flipped, and I will tell you, just even in preparation of watching Duke, you know you're going to see some of this option, but it's not like it's created fits for people. But tonight it has been a difference maker, and it's helped change the momentum.
Harris to keep it. Quentin Harris, very dangerous on his feet. Top rushing quarterback inside the ACC. Number 7 overall in rushing, quarterback or not, in the conference. 2nd down and 4.
It's a 6-yard run on 1st down on the quarterback follow, which was the exact play we saw for the touchdown.
So this all of a sudden giving Pitt fits. Trying to find a hole, but that closes up as he's denied by John Morgan. So the quarter running down. Big 3rd down coming here for the Duke Blue Devils. And get a whistle.
Timeout for an injured player.
Injured player down for Duke with 1 second to go. Jack Woolabaugh, the ACC Offensive Lineman of the Week, in fact. 6'4", about 305 out of Akron, Ohio. And shaken up on that play.
Was a ball boy for the New England Patriots when his father was an offensive lineman for the New England Patriots.
Saw him in the elevator going to his room. We stay in the same hotel. He had a big sack of food. He did not want to tell us what was in it.
And I can guess he probably was not willing to share with you.
No, he looked hungry. He certainly did to me. So Will Taylor, the backup center from Snellville, Georgia, he will enter the fray here. With the ball on the 25-yard line. 3rd down and 3. As we go to the 4th quarter, Duke has jumped right back in it with both feet, and a big mistake by Pitt led to that. 26-10. Momentum for the Blue Devils into the 4th quarter. Active role, 8 of them by the 2 teams combined. 24 out of the 36 points have been scored off turnovers, Tim.
Just absolutely brutal, and you know, Pitt not doing a good job of taking the football away coming into the game. Done a tremendous job of it tonight.
4th quarter getting underway on the carry. And 3rd and 3, and they get it. Deion Jackson with a big play there for Duke to bring up 1st and 10. Could wind up being the most important carry of the 2nd half here. 26-10 Pitt. Harris looking to throw, looking for the end zone, but incomplete. Flags down. That has got to be pass interference. Intended for Bracy. Mathis on the coverage.
Pass interference. Defense, number 21. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's the right call. As you see the one-on-one coverage there, as we saw the interference. And think about what Duke is doing. They keep running that option. Here's the dive. Here's the power play. Pitt packing it in. They're playing that quarters coverage, but it basically amounts to man coverage on the perimeter. So you do that and then take a shot.
Yeah,
really,
Duke,
yeah, it's given this Pitt defense kind of some fit state.
It really has. This brings up 1st and goal at the 6-yard line. Big Mo has jumped right into the camp of the Duke Blue Devils and into the 4th quarter. Harris to roll, end zone again, but incomplete, and another flag down. And it's going to be a late hit. Patrick Jones, as he got to Harris.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 91. Penalty is half a distance to the goal, automatic first down.
Starting to feel like the end of the Virginia-Florida State game, and I'm not sure about that one there. You have an athletic quarterback escaping outside the pocket. And
I know how Narduzzi feels. But brings up 1st and goal. Harris, maybe a little trouble with a snap there, leaning in. And stopped by Twyman. 2nd down.
you know, it's interesting. We're seeing them run more of this option offense. But everything they've been doing is something I've seen before in preparation for them. You know, they don't have the same menu, the same catalog if they were a full-time, you know, option team, but they're having success doing this, you know, the four things that they've done against other people.
Jackson, a running back. Harris on another keep. He's stacked up. Kellen Johnson, the first man to get to him. So nothing there. 3rd and goal. Tim, how do you do this?
Well, listen, I'm staying in this set for sure because it's given them trouble, and you know, wouldn't be surprised to see the dive or the quarterback fall like we saw earlier. The other thing is I don't think there's any doubt that this is 2-down territory for David Cutcliffe.
Harris with a handoff. Jackson trying to build his way forward. And he is in, a touchdown. Duke strikes again. Man, have they flipped this game.
They've totally flipped it, and they do just go down, you know, back to that fullback dive. It's basically just power football at that point from the 2-yard line.
Flag here. 13:09 remaining in this one, and Duke charging.
After the play, personal foul, defense number 5. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff. We'll play the try.
Des Alexander.
The ruling on the field is a touchdown. The previous play is under further review.
And a review here to see if he did get in.
And it looks like he's kind of on the top of some defenders as he's piled in there. They've ruled it a touchdown. You see Kylan Johnson down on the bottom, and he's over the top. And then you see Alexander, you know, trying to rip at the football well after the play is over. I don't know that that would have drawn a personal foul, grabbing at the football in the bottom of the pile down near the goal line. But
well, don't you think it would be hard to see it inconclusively?
Well, that would be the point. Because it's ruled a touchdown, then, you know, I don't see enough evidence to overturn anything. Kylan Johnson is kind of down underneath Jackson, and so I don't see any part of Jackson's body that is actually touching the ground as he falls forward over the goal line there. What an effort by Jackson, though, as he kind of gets stood up in there. Just good leg drive and good push, and it's a strong effort. See, Garner meets him in the hole. Jackson just wins the battle.
Yeah, Quentin Harris already celebrating, I think, before he ever got across the goal line, celebrating that touchdown. But a touchdown ruled on the field.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands.
So the touchdown to make it 26-16. Let's see what they do here. 2 points makes it
a one-score game at that point.
Yeah. 13:09 left. And that is what they're going to try and do, the 2-point conversion. So Harris trying to punch in another score. And a handoff here. Calhoun over the end zone. And I'm not sure he got it, but they say he did. They say he did for the 2-point conversion. With Paris giving chase. Boy, that was close.
You see everybody's walked up in there. It's blitz zero. Durant does a good job of just getting enough of Ford. Oh, and man, Calhoun, that is awfully close. As he's getting to the perimeter, it's a good thing he's got the ball in his left hand. His left foot ends up stepping out of bounds, and I just wonder if that left foot is outside the pylon.
Yeah, they're looking at this one too.
And they should look at it because his left foot is outside the pylon, but that ball looks like it may sneak across. I think it maybe does sneak across before his left foot touches out of bounds.
Yes, oh so close. That plane extends outside the sideline.
That is because I'm telling you, when Calhoun turned the corner, I thought he's going to walk in. It was great effort by Ford to kind of fight through the block of Durant.
Oh, what a grind this has been these last couple of possessions, both long looks on a touchdown and a 2-point conversion.
It's been crazy, and I will say this. I'm going to go back. We had 4 3-and-outs from this Duke offense. They jump into running the option. They get a first down, and the people here at Wallace Wade Stadium were just cheering for a first down.
Yeah, looks like this is going to stand.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. The try for point is good.
And Duke continues to chip away and chip away. And Pat Narduzzi and company find it uncomfortably close here. Tim, this has gotten downright fascinating. Pitt on top 26-18.
It's really been incredible. It has really started because of the turnovers, and it's that option offense that has kind of given fits to the Pitt defense.
So you think about an onside kick here?
I don't with this kind of time and it being a 1-score game, but I would do something to try to pin them back.
Quick recovery here. Taysir Mack. And the pushing and shoving continues. It's kind of been that way all night long.
And that's a great idea. You're kicking from the 50. And so, well, that I would call that an onside kick, but you're not kicking it into the end zone and just giving them a touchback after they penalize themselves with a personal foul after the touchdown.
And Pitt, remember, the last 2 touches before that, a muffed punt and a fumble.
Yeah, you kick it from the 50, you chip it over that first line, and now the ball's on the ground. And man, they are close to coming up with that. But Taysir Mack, who recovered the last one, able to jump on that one just in time.
A lot of life here for the Duke Blue Devils, trailing 26-18. And a handoff here for Carter. Carter, who really ate Duke alive last year. Out to that right side for the gain, stopped by Michael Carter. So he picks up 8. 2nd down and 2. Carter again. Who dazzled against Duke last year with 137 yards. Let's toss it down to Katie George.
Guys, total rejuvenation on this Duke sideline. Prior to the momentum shift, there was absolutely no energy over here. The only bright spot was running backs coach Raekwon Boyette, a former Blue Devil. He was pleading with guys on offense and defense to fight their way back into this game. Now that they have, you can feel the belief and urgency.
Pickett, a bobble, and that's going to be incomplete. Tight end Gragg could not hold on to that as he tumbled out of play.
What a tough break for the Pitt offense because he's wide open. Pickett puts the ball on him, and he's just not able to control it before he steps out of bounds.
Pickett's numbers: 23 for 39, 2 touchdowns, but pretty quiet in the second half. Trying to get noisy again for Pitt. Hand off for Carter, but whistles with 12:13 to go.
False start. Offense, number 18. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Well, Dave, you mentioned a quiet, half for Kenny Pickett. Mack and French, who just were absolutely going off in the first half. 0 receptions in the second half.
So 2nd and long for Pickett. A junior from New Jersey. 13 penalties charged to Pittsburgh for 130 yards. Wants to fire it, dumps it for Carter. Carter trying to cut back inside. And some tough yards after the catch. He's still putting in his miles. Over to talk with Mark Whipple. Got an injury here. Duke has a man down with 12:02 left. But Kobe Kwanzaa, their outstanding middle linebacker, also out. So a couple of huge defenders.
Yeah, and there's Singleton right there, and really does an excellent job of taking on Jimmy Morrissey. He tries to force Malik Carter back inside, and could have gotten kneed by a big Jimmy Morrissey. And not the right time to have your best defensive player out of the game on 3rd and 5.
Yeah, coaches say he's an all ACC level player. Missing at the moment. Pitt 0 for 5. Their last 5 third downs, they turn it over on a big pick by Serenoid. And a huge turnover once again by the Pitt Panthers. The senior from Miami with the interception. And mobbed by his teammates.
It's an outstanding call by defensive coordinator McInerney because he shows blitz. Basically everybody coming. He thinks guys are coming, and they're going to take Serenoid, the defensive tackle, and just drop him out into the throwing lane. Kenny Pickett is trying to hit a shallow cross, but the defensive tackle has dropped back into the throwing lane. What a great call. Can't credit McInerney enough for how creative that call was there on a 3rd and 5, gotta have it situation.
Pitt with 3 consecutive possessions ending with a turnover. Harris going to be taken down by Amir Watts. Nine turnovers by the two teams combined. Looks like Watts is down. He's the player injured here for the Panthers. With 11.5 minutes to go.
You see Watts is just going to come over the left guard. Really nice swim move by Watts, and is able to track Harris down, and it's hard to see what happens, but great play and shaken up after a great play.
Hard landing for the 295-pound senior from Chicago. And Pickett alone with his thoughts after the interception. And Watts is up and apparently okay. Good sign there for the senior. Man, has Duke turned the tables, and they've done it with the same script that the Panthers used in the first half.
You're right. Turn the football over and score.
Yes.
Right?
So bring up a long second down, 2nd and 18. On the 34-yard line of Pittsburgh. Harris will step up. He's got a lot of room here. And a big game. And that's what Quentin Harris can do. He can break your back with the rush.
And it's a quarterback draw. This is a designed quarterback draw. It's a good job of dealing with the twist. Harris forward, looks like it trips over the official, and big play for the offense there.
Yep.
3rd and manageable.
Gain of 18. 3rd and 1. Straight forward to pick up a first down. So this is where Quentin Harris has really sprung to life.
You just think about what he went through in the first half in terms of the turnovers, the fumbles, and the interceptions, and the ability to just stick with it, turn the game around, running the option, and now back to your traditional offense.
They'll throw to Jackson out of the backfield, trying for the sideline, and he's tied up on the play. Stopped by Cam Bright. Gain of 7, though. Duke once again looking to capitalize on a Pitt turnover. As we approach 10 minutes to go here at Duke. Second down and 7. It's Jackson again. Straight ahead. Now Deion Jackson has been the man here in the second half, running the football for the Blue Devils. Going to be 3rd and short. They're going to go quick. Here's Calhoun trying to cut back inside and got it. As he dove ahead after the reception, stopped by Hamlin. But 1st and goal for Duke.
Good job by Calhoun. That's a little bubble play. They're trying to get to the perimeter. They want to get outside. Dangerous to come back inside with all of the pursuit coming there. Secures the football, gets the first down.
He'll keep it, trying to pull his way inside, and he got there. Touchdown. Well, Quentin Harris has had an amazing night. He had a nightmarish first half. In the second half, they're having a lot of trouble stopping him. He gets into the end zone.
They absolutely are. They're doing a great job kind of getting him comfortable, and I think it was Harris running the football that really kind of got him back into a groove here. And so
obviously
another 2-point opportunity, and it's critical. And you know, both times, last time they had it left center, this time they move it at right center. And in critical situations, they've been trying to get to the perimeter. So jet sweep motions to get to the perimeter, and they go empty, something they've been doing all season long.
Trying for 2. Harris again, straight ahead, so close, and he got in. And the game is tied at 26.
Listen, they fake it to Jackson, and it's just, you know, Quentin Harris and his will to the end zone. He's not in there. Somewhat surprised that forward progress, you know, a whistle wasn't blown as forward progress stopped, and then just a push into the end zone. But regardless, outstanding.
Half in this game, Tim, they have battled back to tie it at 26.
Just remarkable resolve, and David Cutcliffe at the half saying, you know, we start to get back to the things that we do offensively, and they've done that, and they've kind of fought their way back in. A couple big plays, one on special teams and one on defense, and really 2 on defense. And a great job of a quarterback responding after having a terrible first half to really respond in the second half.
I thought maybe his progress was stopped on that two-point conversion.
For me, I don't think there was any doubt that his progress was stopped. And, you know, it kind of puts defenders in tricky positions here, but
listen for the whistle.
And he stopped.
No whistle. Never heard it.
But, I mean, you saw it there. He stood up and then is going backwards. And it wasn't until the offensive lineman kind of came to his defense that they push him into the end zone.
During the trifle point, there was an inadvertent signal by an official. Therefore, by rule, we'll replay the try.
They are going to replay the two-point conversion.
Never seen this.
So take those points off, and it's 26-24. How about that?
And so maybe they're saying that there was an official that signaled that the play was down, because they didn't say inadvertent whistle. There was not a whistle.
Wow.
Inadvertent signal. Not an inadvertent whistle.
No.
There's not a whistle. We just listened to it. There's not a whistle. If they said an inadvertent signal, then maybe they're saying that guys stopped playing because there was a signal as if the play had been stopped.
Perhaps. They're going to try it again, though.
Never seen it.
Harris again. Nothing there this time, though, as he is denied. And stopped by Watts. And the crowd will boo. And that was strange.
I just don't know how you know, as an offense, your kickoff team is lined up. Your kickoff team is lined up. And, hey, we're going to go run, you know, a two-point conversion. I mean, someone's got to show us where the signal is because, you know, there's the fake on the sweep. There's Harris. The officials are running in there, and so right there, bottom left, he's saying, you know, he gives us two signals.
Yes, he did, eventually.
And I just don't know. I mean, here's the thing, in terms of, you know, he's signaling. So if you just look at the referee who's signaling here that the try is no good, there's no one looking out to him. Are we going to say that Jackson, who's down here, you know, that he sees it and he stops playing? I mean, and then he signals touchdown. So as I mean, it's so.
That was
Dave,
strange.
I've never seen it. And then you think about the rhythm for your offense. You had your kickoff team lined up.
Yeah. Does not seem right that Duke lost 2 points there, but they did. Woods to take it out. And he is bottled up shy of the 25-yard line with about 9 minutes to go. Pitt still clinging to a 2-point advantage, 26-24. Although they are very unhappy inside Wallace Wade. So 1st and 10 for Pitt.
You know, one of the things I think Pitt has been struggling with, we've mentioned how banged up they've been at running back, and because of that, you know, it just seems like they've had a hard time just kind of salting things away here on the football, and, you know, they come out and they're already in empty.
On the handoff is Jacques Louis as he scampers out of bounds. Sophomore from Fort Myers, Florida, has not been very active in this one, but that picks up 10. So 1st down.
You see their run game with their running backs. Their run game is get an empty motion receiver across the formation and try to get to the perimeter.
Now, tremendous comeback for Duke. Turnovers a major part of the narrative, really on both sides tonight. Pickett on 1st and 10. The French in motion, handoff for Carter. Behind the line. Trying to make some forward progress on the play. Stopped by Serenor, the gain of 1. And the clock running. Just over 8 minutes to play. Pickett back from a shoulder injury from a couple of weeks ago. Got off to a hot start. Didn't stay hot in the second half, though. And from the 34-yard line, 2nd down and 9. And he'll look to throw it here. And that's going to be out of bounds. Intended for Mack.
I said it the last drive. You think about the way Maurice French and Tasir Mack were almost uncoverable in the first half. They have disappeared in the second half.
They really have. Two guys who had combined for 72 receptions as a combo, #1 in the country. But there'd been a rumor in the second half. Pickett to fire again. Going long and incomplete. He wanted Mack, but not that time. So they will punt.
You have to credit McIntyre and the job that he's done on the receivers there. They're trying to get, Kenny Pickett is trying to get Mack running down the seam, and they just are able to squeeze him in tight enough that the safety that's playing in the middle of the field makes it difficult for Kenny Pickett to get that ball in there, which is why it's, you know, well over to Tasir Mack's head.
Here's to Doolittle to punt again. Blackwell standing back at the 20 to receive it. And a low punt. And he'll dive ahead shy of the 40-yard line. So that is where the Blue Devils will take over. Quentin Harris, who has really caught fire, particularly rushing the football. These turnovers have been leading to points.
Just been incredible. Great resolve by a team that was struggling in the first half, but you come up with turnovers, and then the offense responds. And right after that score, here's Singleton ripping it out. Follow that up with a score. A good, tough run. Cap it off with the 2-point conversion, and then a creative defensive play call, get a defensive tackle and interception, and really this Duke team do an excellent job of responding.
Play gets the 40, 7:22 to go. Here's the touchdown. And the 2-point conversion that they initially counted and then erased. And on a handoff, it's Jackson as he's pushed back. Under 7 minutes to play. Pittsburgh 3-2, 0-1 in the ACC. The Blue Devils have won 3 in a row, coming off a great 45-10 victory on the road at Virginia Tech. 3rd down and 6 coming. Harris to pass. Quick dart and connects. He gets it to Jake Bobo, who is back from injury. Coming off collarbone surgery.
And Jake Bobo does a good job of just winning on the slant, similar to the play they opened the game with and the play that Harris threw the interception on. But you basically trips to one side, isolation route to Bobo. Good job of winning on the slant.
Pickup of 12. And Jackson trying to spin forward. Stopped by Patrick Jones. That picks up 3 yards. So coming down the stretch here in Durham. And Harris leading the charge, shaking off a bad first half. He's had an excellent second half. Throwing again and nearly picked off, nearly intercepted. Mathis there to defend on Bobo.
Yeah, and I thought that Harris was late coming to this, and you know, Bobo was out of bounds. There's a lot of contact with these receivers and defensive backs. When you have 2 hands draped on a receiver, I know I'm a quarterback or former quarterback, but to me, it's just too much contact 15 yards down the field.
You're always a quarterback. You'll be a quarterback forever. 3rd down and 7. He'll throw it again. Incomplete. intended for Calhoun. So both offenses stalling a bit here in the late stages of the fourth.
That's just a miss by Harris. Calhoun wins on the route, and I think there was some thought 4th and 7 that they were going to go for it, and here comes the punting unit, which the way your defense has responded, I think is probably the right decision here.
Yeah, Austin Parker coming on. Maurice French back in there as the punt return man. Earlier, Paris Ford had subbed in for him, and he fumbled one. So on 4th and 7, they will punt with 5:44 left. No, it's going to be a fake. And they're going to throw it, and nearly intercepted again. Dane Jackson there as he knocked that down.
And they're close on this. Dane Jackson does a good job of staying home, but what they're going to do is they're going to roll the punter this way. They are then going to release the gunner out that way and then try to throw it back. The problem is Dane Jackson, who's right here, he just stays home. And so because it's a long throw and he stays home and he's aware, he's able to react to the football. And I just am not sure that 4th and 7, you know, on the plus, you know, side of the field, the antennas are going to be up for the return team. You know, you're not coming with a block at that point. And, and so that's why I think Dane Jackson is so aware that something might be fishy.
They certainly look ready for it. 5:39 left. And Pickett off the pump fake and complete. And a big hitter here and a first down to Jacques Louis. And
nice job on the reset by Kenny Pickett. He's trying to work Griffin Stewart to the flat, doesn't like it, pumps it. The defense kind of gets disoriented with that pump fake. That's why he's able to hit young receiver coming over the middle late.
Sophomore out of Fort Myers, Florida, with a catch and run. 201 yards on the night for Pickett. He's been intercepted twice, but 2 touchdowns. Carter, the running back. He'll take the handoff and cut to his left, still on his feet. And finally goes down, a helmet off on the play. Carter lost the hard hat. So he will have to sit this play out by rule. 2nd down and 12 on the 40.
Yeah, and so when Carter's helmet comes off, he then now is down. And I know they continue to play. It seemed like they were a little late to the whistle, but he's down there. So even though he ends up falling forward, really is a 2-yard loss. And the rule's a good rule. You want to protect the player, especially if he's a ball carrier and the helmet's off. So he's down at that point.
Strap it on a little tighter this time. Pickett with a handoff. It's Sibley to the left. And he's cut down by Marquise Waters. Picking up 2 yards on that carry. So that'll bring up 3rd down and 10. We approach 4 minutes. Look at that, Pitt 0 for 5. Trying to convert 3rd downs in the second half.
Well, and 3rd and 10 doesn't make it any easier, you know, staying 3rd and manageable. I think their inability to run the football has kept them in 3rd and longs.
Todd Sibley, the back. Lost it, but the ball was down. It was down. And now they are completely out of field goal range. Loss of 11.
You see all these Duke defenders way up in there. This is basically all-out blitz there in Pittsburgh to throw the football. They don't. Kwanzaa's able to run through free. And then, yeah, the loss, we know that they've attempted long field goals.
The game clock to 3:24. 3:24 on the game clock.
So they had a little more time, 3:24 to go. Down the stretch we come. Here, though, in the last 3.5 minutes, 26-24 Pitt. But Pitt to punt. And a fair catch by Blackwell to set it up for the Duke Blue Devils at 1st and 10 and trailing by 2. Remembering they had a 2-point conversion erased. Then they effectively ran the same play moments later, and that was stopped.
Yeah, and you could make the argument the successful one was stopped. You know, forward progress was stopped, and so maybe ultimately, you know, the net result was the right thing. It was kind of a bizarre sequence, but nonetheless, Duke has an opportunity, ball back, timeouts, and over 3 minutes left to go, and a quarterback that has responded really well in the second half.
Well, he really has. Quentin Harris, the senior. And starting this drive with a complete pass to Durant. Pays a price there and stopped by Phil Campbell. That's a loss of 1. Durant in the backfield with Harris. He'll pass and incomplete. He wanted Bracey on the sideline, but incomplete.
I think Bracey's got to have a little bit of an awareness. Harris Ford comes on the safety blitz, and Harris sees it, which is why he's taking a shot outside to Bracey, and it seemed like Bracey was surprised by the football.
Big 3rd down for Quentin Harris. He'll throw again and complete. And a big stick. And a flag down as well. Harris Ford there with the hit on Bracey, but a flag. 2:43 to go.
Personal foul, targeting, defense number 12. That previous play is under further review.
And when you look at it, Paris Ford is driving on Bracey. You know, and he's trying to yell that it was his shoulder, but it's his shoulder up into the head and neck area. You know, of a receiver that I think you could say is defenseless in that position there.
Paris Ford has had a great night, by the way, with a pair of interceptions in this game. And at halftime, Pat Narduzzi was singing his praises, first 2 of his career. He's certainly a playmaker.
And this, to me, looks like it has the elements. It isn't an attacking manner to a defenseless receiver up into the head and neck area. And you know, it is hard on safeties. I mean, we're watching this in slow motion, and Bracey obviously kind of crouches down and braces, and so, you know, your target, if you're Ford, has got to lower even more without knowing that the receiver is going to lower. And so I think you just, you know, unfortunately, you got to go even lower if you're a safety, and I think it's a really good shot that this ends up being confirmed.
So the ruling on the field is targeting number 12, Paris Ford of the Pitt Panthers. And let's see if they confirm that or not.
And if they do, Dave, that'll be the 14th penalty in this Pitt team, and obviously just add to the yardage total.
If they do, he would be disqualified. And another key loss if that happens, as he has been so instrumental in this ball game tonight for Pittsburgh.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. That's a 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Also, number 12 is disqualified.
He will also miss the first half of the Syracuse game on the 18th, and he is hopping mad.
You better be careful he doesn't get another one.
So that will move the football to the 38-yard line. First down and 10. And a very angry Paris Ford. 11 tackles, 2 interceptions, but he is disqualified. He's giving it right back to the Duke faithful.
He's unhappy about it, but it's the rule in college football. It's the right call by the officials, and it's a good job of confirming it.
And the penalties continue to mount for Pitt. Harris, some time to get it off, but incomplete. He wanted Jake Bobo again. He's become a favorite target.
This is exactly like the one to Bracey, where, you know, it's almost like Bobo is running, not expecting the football. You know, Quentin Harris is starting inside. If he doesn't like it inside, that time it was the option route to Noah Gray, then he's going to try to give an opportunity outside. Now, it wasn't a well-thrown football, but the receiver needs to expect the ball.
2nd down 10. Harris straight ahead and stopped by Brightwell. He gains 4 yards on that carry. So we're approaching the 2-minute mark. Duke down 2 at home. 2 timeouts remaining for the Blue Devils. Well, that's a long, long way to go for Ford after being disqualified. He's going to go all the way to that facility about 100 yards away. Quick dish and the connection to Calhoun, and nearly broke it free. Jalen Calhoun with a big reception. 13 yards.
You're just running triple slant. You see, you read it inside out. You start with Noah Gray, come out to Calhoun. It's a good ball right into the chest of Calhoun, which allows him to stay on his feet and make a nice little run after the catch. 5
receptions tonight. Harris again to throw over the middle and caught. Jackson for the end zone. Touchdown. Deion Jackson rumbles in, and the Duke Blue Devils jump in front, 30-26.
Really creative play call by David Cutcliffe. He's doing a good job of trying to find matchups that you like. Try to spread out the defense and attack a matchup that you like. And really, really good job. It's a play that they ran earlier in the game. Quentin Harris missed the throw in the first half, and now creates another opportunity for this Duke offense to go for 2.
They're going to try the 2-point conversion again. See if this one will hold up. And whistles here. We've got 1:29 to go.
Timeout. Duke.
And Duke takes the timeout.
30-second timeout.
And 1 remaining. What a comeback here for the Blue Devils.
I mentioned it was really creative play call. They're running corner routes right here. That is to draw these defenders out wide. Now watch what they do here. They're going to move Jackson up to the middle of the field, a little wiggle, and he's going to run right down the middle as Brightwell tries to attack him. And so you widen the safeties, and then you just shoot your tailback right past that middle linebacker. It is a really well-designed and timed-up play in terms of the call. Good execution after missing it earlier in the first half.
And you've got to say this about Quentin Harris. He had an awful first half. But you talk about being mentally tough. In the second half, he's been very, very good.
It was awful. And you and I looked at each other after, speaking with him before the game and said, I don't know that we've met a more impressive person ever. And it seemed like it was going to have to be something really bad to get him to be, to the point where he wasn't able to come back, to be so shaken with how he had played. And the young man with a lot of poise, a lot of confidence, a guy that waited his turn for an opportunity to be the starting quarterback here at Duke.
Yep.
He's done a tremendous job.
Waiting his turn behind a great quarterback, of course. Well, they'll go for 2. They'll keep it again, looking to throw for the end zone, and incomplete. Calhoun has just caught a big ball a couple of moments ago. He was the intended receiver. Good quarterback pressure here by Alexander. The largest second half comeback, 21 points in the second half, 1962 against Florida. This one they trailed by 23 with 2:42 to go in the third, and now lead it 30-26. So 90 seconds to go. A game of two halves for sure. Very dramatic momentum switch in this one in Duke's favor.
It's really been incredible. I mean, I think at one point here it would look like, you know, Pitt was going to really just step on the gas and close this thing out. And I think it was the move to put Paris forward as the return man to take French out from return punts, who've done such a great job.
Right.
He coughs it up inside the 10-yard line, and I think that gave Duke just a little taste of life. They took it and ran with it.
Duke trying to win their fourth consecutive game and go to 2-0 in the ACC. But Pickett will get the ball back. 1:30 to go here in the fourth quarter. A.J. Woods inside the 5-yard line. So 1:25 remaining, and coming up after the game, all ACC scores, highlights, breakdowns, post-game interviews from all of today's games. It's been some day in the ACC. Kelsey Riggs and the gang coming up right after this one here on ACC Network and the ESPN app.
You know, Pitt's been in some of these nail biters in the fourth quarter. They've had some tough ones, and so in some ways you should feel confident about that if you're Pat Narduzzi. You've been battle tested in fourth quarter moments like this before.
He certainly has tested receivers. Pickett to throw here, and it's incomplete. And a flag. Flags down on the play. Intended for Carter, incomplete, but flags.
Pass interference, defense, number 49. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Yeah, that's on Kobe Kwanzaa.
It's a good drive starter by Pittsburgh. They do a nice job, you know, in some ways, like Duke just did. Release the back out of the backfield, and they get him running up the sideline. And so now you have Kwanzaa, a guy that would much rather be taking on an ISO block, trying to run with a 185-pound running back that's got good speed, adjusting to the football.
It was Duke's first penalty of the second half. Pickett to launch this one and complete to Mack as he picks up the first down. And that's a gain of 12 yards.
And that's two plays in a row where they've rotated the coverage to play with one high safety, basically leaving Mack one-on-one coverage. If they continue to do it, I would think Pickett challenges it.
Matthews with a catch in traffic and a big gain. Aaron Matthews. So they're quickly moving the chains here. Still 3 timeouts remaining for the Pitt Panthers. Pickett looking downfield, directing traffic, and he throws, and that one is complete. With a catch there by French, but flags again.
There's a flag on the field.
And I think that French steps out of bounds as he's trying to work for his quarterback, and then the first one to touch the football. Pat Narduzzi, as you can hear, saying he was pushed out.
You can hear him all over Durham, in fact.
But you see French is on the boundary.
Illegal touching, offense, number 19. The penalty is lost it down at the previous spot. It'll be second down.
Well, it's on number 2, French. He's on the boundary, and he was not pushed out. As Pickett is scrambling, he decides to work for his quarterback, but just is a little bit too wide, steps out of bounds, and that ends up being the right call because he was not forced out of bounds by the defender.
So from the 32 of the Blue Devils, it's second down and 10. Under a minute to play. Pickett trying to engineer a game-winning come-from-behind drive here for the Panthers.
You have French inside playing with wide safeties. Expect Pickett to work the middle.
And a tough catch there by Jacques Louis. Eventually stopped by Blackwell. He gains 6 yards. 43 seconds to go.
Pitt, their first of the half.
And Pitt will take their
timeout.
first time out of
Please
player
reset the game
down.
clock to 44 seconds.
That is Josh Blackwell, who is down for Duke. 44 seconds left. We talk about Pittsburgh drama the last 3 weeks. September 14th, final pass of the game. This is in the loss at Penn State. And then September 21, the game-winning trick play, the Pitt special against UCF. And the go-ahead touchdown pass against Delaware. That was with about 10.5 minutes to go on September the 28th, but they were 30-point favorites in that game, and they eked it out in the end.
In that first clip, at Penn State, and Mark Whipple told us he felt like they really grew up this offense at Penn State. You have over 100,000 people in the crowd. It's loud, and even though they didn't score, they moved the ball down the field. And so, I reference being battle tested in this situation. I think they feel that way. I would just also point out with the Blackwell, injury there being banged up. Now you're talking about younger players, playing the cornerback position. I would expect to get zone coverage from Duke in this situation. Playing reserves at corner.
Is Pitt finally going to convert in the second half on a third down? 0 for 6. And they will. It's Carter spinning free. Headed for the end zone. He's in for the touchdown. Malik Carter on the strike by Cody Pickett from 26 yards. And they punch it in with 38 seconds to go. And Pitt's on top 32-30.
It's a brilliant play call by Mark Whipple. Expecting pressure, just expecting Duke to come after him in a third down situation, and finding a way to sneak Malik Carter out of the backfield.
Kessman on for the PAT. He drills it. 33-30. Some finish in this one. 38 seconds left.
Yeah, you see everyone coming in here. Basically, it's man across the board. You see the man of coverage across the board, and they're just going to leak Malik Carter out here, and he's uncovered. Somebody's got to peel with him, and so it's a bust unless they're asking McSwain, the defensive tackle, to do it, which is an impossible job, which is why Malik Carter is so wide open. Kenny Pickett does a good job of just retreating, giving enough ground, and then it's tough to make a tackle on Carter in the open field with that much space. But a really, really well-timed play call by Mark Whipple, expecting pressure. And yeah, listen, when you've blown a lead and then you get it back, you do get a kiss and a hug from your head coach.
You get a kiss from the head coach. Scoring drive, 4 plays, 82 yards. Carter was the guy who crushed them last year with 137 rushing yards on just a handful of carries. Pickett comes up big in the clutch. So just 38 seconds remaining here for Duke. And now their turn to be a little. Well, let's see if Duke has some magic left for themselves here, because they have scored 20 points in the quarter. Harris, 18 out of 41. He has been picked off 2 times. It was early in the game. Also a couple of fumbles.
With a timeout left and with the clock stopping on first downs, all areas of the field are available to you. And Duke's offense really not known for big explosive plays, but they're going to need one here.
Well, I got to believe those late game situations have helped the Pitt Panthers with their composure here down the stretch. That's going to be knocked away, almost picked off. That was tipped by Hallett, almost into an interception.
Good job of Hamlin running with Noah Gray down the seam. Noah Gray, been fairly quiet night for Noah Gray, who has really been a huge part of this Duke offense, but basically held him in check. Do a good job of running with him down the seam there.
Yeah, they've essentially shut him down. He's a big-time tight end from the 25, 2nd and 10. Harris to put it in the air again. And an overthrow and incomplete.
Looked like there was maybe a grab there. Both officials signaling that was an uncatchable ball, which probably the right call there as that one sailed out of bounds.
3rd and 10 with 28 seconds left. Harris to pass. Pressure on him. Ball is loose. And Pitt has the football. Patrick Jones forcing a fumble with 22 seconds to go. Recovered by Phil Campbell. And Pitt on top, 33-30. So much of this game, Tim, has been determined by turnovers.
It certainly has. And Jacob Monk, the freshman right tackle right there, just ends up getting beat inside by Jones. Does a good job of splitting it. There's no presence from the back inside as he's releasing outside. And
we'll take a look to see if the arm is going forward on this play.
I think Jones's helmet gets Harris on the elbow before that ball is coming forward.
Yep.
And that ball looks like it is coming out in a fumble.
3 fumbles.
But, you know, we talked about, you know, what a great job protecting the quarterback this Duke offense has done coming into this game, and what a great job Quentin Harris has done at getting rid of the football and being on the same page as his offensive line. And really, this defensive line and blitz package for Pittsburgh has done a good job confusing the Duke offense and finding ways to harass the quarterback.
So if in fact it is a fumble, it's the 3rd of the ball game for Quentin Harris, who had a really fine second half, but may have just coughed it up here again.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands.
So the call stands. Yep, 3 fumbles, 2 interceptions for Harris. And a very affectionate Pat Narduzzi.
Hugs all around. Philippe Carter.
Hugs and kisses. Well, it'd be a terrific win for him. It would put Pittsburgh at 4-2 and would be their first win in the ACC. And it would be their 5th consecutive victory over the Duke Blue Devils. So Pitt can start the celebration. It'll be a 33-30 victory over Duke here on the road tonight at Wallace Wade Stadium. A lot of turnovers in the game, a lot of excitement down the stretch.
Ton of excitement down the stretch, and you know, we were talking about the resolve of Quentin Harris as he brought his team back, but how about the resolve of Kenny Pickett, the toughness, and you know, dealing with a little bit adversity in the second half, but to get the ball back inside 2 minutes and make a few big throws to lead your team to victory. Gutsy effort.